wife? How's the kids? Hopefully good, hopefully good. Yo, Gabba, thank you so much for a 2, 3, and 16 months. Good googledy moogledy. Sweet 16. Ding. Oh my good gracious. Yo. Oh my god. Salut. Hello. Oh my god. Oh my good gracious. MJ, what's a Winston? For passport renewals, why would you do a thing like that? Simply become a citizen of the world. It works wonders. Cops can't touch you. You just go places immigrating very legally without a passport and just go, I'm a citizen of the world, officer. You can't do anything to me. I am a citizen of the world. I've seen it work amazingly. It works great for people. Truly, it's a wonder of our age. Yo, how do, Grant? How do? Oh, good gracious. Hey, Dragoncorn. Should be here for stream again. Yo, huzzah indeed. Nap, did you consume a big, beautiful breakfast today? Huh? What? No. What? I'm confused. Is something going on? What do you... In the nicest of ways, I feel like I just had a stroke reading that. I don't know why. That was just... It's something about the alliteration just threw me. In the best of ways. In the best of ways. Oh my god. I feel like that may not work. No, it'll work. It'll work. Citizen of the world. It works. It works. You know, hand to God. I've never done it, but I'm sure it'll work. You know, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing fantastic. Can't complain, you know? I'm requesting the government give me this passport because it says the Queen Charles simply doesn't exist. I don't know if you'll be in luck with that or not, pal. I don't know if that's like a requirement or not, or if they're gonna be like, no, it has to be updated, or if they're gonna be like, oh yeah, you can keep Liz. It's so fun. Maybe you'll get a beautiful new blue passport. Who knows? Who knows? I bet your breakfast was just a cup of Yeah? And your point? Listen, it's a it's a brand at this point. It's a brand. I'm not gonna get rid of that brand. It's like it's like trying to go up to I don't know, what's a brand? It's like trying to go up to a mermaid and say, hey, you can't sell coffee, get it 'cause Starbucks. That one didn't hit. I'll admit that. Okay, I don't know where I was going with that one. I'll be real, but I have no point to make by that either, as my breakfast is always that. Let's go. Hey, it's simple. It's a cup of Joe. I'm a simple guy. I get a cup of Joe. I want to find a little dive diner like that. Actually, I want to find like a little place that I can always walk into and be like, hey, give me a cup of Joe Black. Like, I mean, it just seems isn't that the life? I think it is. I don't have to worry about getting one of those weird smoothies or whatever. Something with flax. I had no other way to spin into this. I don't even know what this is. I'm gonna be real. I think it's all one big word. Flaxkikare. I don't know what that is, to be honest. But I wanted to spin. They make you send in the old passport, but you can request it back or not. Also, as already blue. Oh, well, I mean, I imagine you can request it back because some people probably keep them, like in the way of like, you know what I mean? Some people are probably like, no, I want to get this, show off all the stamps of all the places I've been, you know? I'm sure that's probably part of it. The Bobo children's comic created by Swedish cartoonist Lars Mort. You googled it. There is no shot in the world, MJ. You're very smart and the like, but I don't think you just had the name of a random Swedish cartoonist in your back pocket. I'm gonna be real. Oh, I didn't even see the quotes. I was like, hey, yo, there's no shot that you just, like, had random Swedish cartoonist Lars Mortimer ready to go instantly. My god. If you didn't have a big, beautiful breakfast, did you at least have a large, luscious lunch? No. I had coffee, and then I continued to have coffee, and now I'm here. You see how that works? Ain't that neat? Listen. Do I really need anything else if I can have the drink that has it all? I mean, realistically, you know, I could have gotten my coffee done up in a way that calorically speaking, I'd be fine, you know? I'm sure there's proteins. There's protein in beans, right? That's like a thing. They're like a legume. It's a whole thing that way, right? It's a quote from a website. Which website? Is it reputable? Can it be trusted? I doubt it. Oh my God, Travis, we got big plans for today. Today, we got two things. One, I need to distract myself from the sheer. Have any of you ever stayed up a little too late researching into a topic that you really shouldn't be? Like something pretty plain. I don't know how many of you were ever, what's the word I'm looking for? Titanic kids? You know what I mean? Like you know when you're like a kid and just somehow you inevitably end up looking into the Titanic disaster of 1912? Like you just start looking into it for whatever reason, and then it just continues to ebb and flow into your daily life throughout the years after that. Like it just becomes this vague obsession and you're not sure why. It's like the 9/11 of the 20th century. It's just this horrible event that we just have really well documented, and you can just read people's diary entries about it. I guess the classic Titanic kids. Not the kids on the Titanic. I was so into it. I made fun of it. I made fun for it in school. Oh, I thought you said I thought you meant in school. You were so into Titanic, you made fun of the Titanic. You were just like you were like in like a third grade classroom, like, yeah, and I'm glad that them poor Irish jerkwads on the bottom floor got absolutely obliterated in third class. I wish to reinforce the class structure of the Titanic. I thought that's what you were getting at. I was a little concerned. I'll be honest. I thought you were just absolutely like, I think Jack didn't deserve a place on that door. I was perturbed, I'll be real. Isn't Choo Choo Charles 2? No, it's not. And I'm not playing a horror game again for a long time, alright? Listen, that was awful. I'm glad you lot found it entertaining. I did not. Oh my God. I wasn't even weird about it. Is there a way to be weird about it? I got a kick of reading about the fake towns they made for the wars. It just started spiraling. Oh my God. I missed horror. Yeah, truly tragic. Let it be known, you don't need to go back and watch the VOD. I just had a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Masculine reaction to everything that went on, and honestly, my voice got lower, I think, during the whole stream. I think I went down a notch. I really proved the quotation about corpse husband correct, you know? I think ultimately it just re-solidified that I am in fact like 58, you know? Like it's just like, wow, that's the noise that like a 58-year-old man would make. Like, you know? I didn't think it was possible for your voice to get deep. Is it possible for anybody's voice to get deeper, truly, than mine? My timbre? That really, the timbre of a voice that really just screams the utmost masculinity. Grant, how dare you? How dare you, my friend? How dare you? I got the Riverdale Glee crossover comic. And using reference to the comic, I was able to pinpoint between two Glee episodes of comic takes place. I'm sorry, the what crossover comic? The what? And my dad got me coal for Christmas one year, which was actually from it. Not ethical. You can't recommend nowadays. Wait, like he got you coal from the Titanic? Wait, I'm sorry. Did I miss a beat? I remember the museum tour went around in the mid-noughties. I still have the ticket for it. They made it look like a boarding ticket. Oh yeah, those yeah, I was at a museum that did that once for the Titanic. They had an exhibit in, and it was really strange because I died. At the end, you found out, like, you got a ticket for like a person who was on it. I was a little girl in the third class. I didn't make it. Which is such a dark thing. Like, I was a child going through this. I remember. And so it was really dark to get to the end and be like, yeah, you died. You died. And I go, oh, and they even tell you, like, yeah, was found frozen to death. Like, what? Excuse me? I meant more your voice is already so deep. I didn't think you could be any deep. Oh, so true, King. So true. It's so naturally deep. Just, you know, I may as well be the Marlboro Man, you know? Except not, because don't smoke, kids. It's bad for you. Oh my good gracious. There's an official Riverdale and Glee crossover comic. I didn't know there was comics for those series to begin with, let alone official crossover comics. Did they have a series? Who published this? What publisher was it under? Now I'm curious. Who was out here like, oh, you know, we're leaving too much money on the table with this whole Glee thing. And nowadays with Riverdale, oh, we could really turn a profit, boys. Like, who was out here championing that cause? Oh my god. If anyone cares, comic takes place between season 3, episodes 11 and 12. Oh my god. Where do you think Riverdale came from? Okay. I understand that in theory, Riverdale is based off of the Archie comics characters. In practice, it is absolutely not based on a single element of that comic series outside of the names. That's it. I don't even think Jughead wears a crown or eats burgers. I'm pretty sure he's like vegan or something. Like, down to like the most just minute details which were even changed and altered entirely. You know what I mean? Like, it's so very different. I'm pretty sure that's the show where Archie goes to prison for murder and then tells some other child in prison, you never knew the highs and lows of high school football. Like, he's gonna rock in like, maybe next time you gotta get a board that can handle the neutron style. Like, no, Archie, you killed a man. You don't get to do this. Maybe next time you're gonna get a board that can handle the neutron style. Like, no, man. That's not how that works. Yo, X-Men, dude, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Oh my god. Have you ever seen me without this hat? Hat's weird. Oh my god. Did wear a paper crown. Oh, well, that good for him. I thought that was a band. Isn't Paper Crowns a band? Isn't that a thing? It gives the crown to Sue Sylvester. My god. Wait. That's the news lady that becomes president, right? I'm pretty sure. Edward and Tyler explained elements of the plot of that show to me one horrid day in the Discord server. And I'm pretty sure they said that person becomes president. Which confused me, but whatever. I'll go with it. I'm not gonna fight anybody on that. I don't know why I said howdy. That's not a normal thing to say. I mean, that's fair, but you know, everybody wants to try some country style every now and again, I'm pretty sure. You know, everybody now and again. How's it going? It's going good, man. Can't complain. Life's been clicking along, you know. I've been getting my work done and the like, and then the Minecraft the Minecraft world's been clicking along as well. It's all pretty good. I nearly well, just so manly was I on Friday where I dealt with a choo-choo train that was more demonic than I ever care to see again. It was horrific, and I'll put it this way. I was apparently so loud, my roommate left. My roommate left for the evening. It was too loud. I was too, oh my god, which is, as opposed to normally, where I'm not. So that's how loud it apparently got. Wait, Sue Sylvester becomes president? Apparently. Becomes Mitt Romney's VP? I'm sorry, what? I didn't realize Mitt Romney was involved. Well, this changes things. Wait, is Sue Sylvester a Mormon? Is that what I'm getting from this? I'm gonna need spruce, aren't I? I didn't even bring it over here. I'm a dum-dum. Play Outlast next. No, that's a no from me, dog. I've explained to chat before that game should very much underscore to anybody who is ever curious about how. Oh, Nap, you like horror games, right? Years ago, I was at my best friend's house, and while I was there, said, "Oh, Nap. Let's play a horror game." He knows I don't like horror, but alas, what was I to do? Jump through a window? I think not. But no, it was like Friday the 13th or whatever, so it was like one of those things you do. We were like probably, I don't know, 13 or something at the time. I swear to God. But anyway, or maybe even younger, I forget. But anyway, we were like, yeah, somewhere between the ages of like 11 and 14, I think, roughly. But anyway, there we were, and we had this game available because it was like, I think they just owned it already or whatever, or had it. And so, lo and behold, we booted up. He's played it before, all right? He's played this game before. He knows what's gonna happen. So I have no idea. He has me sat there with the controller in hand, ready to go. I get out of you're a news anchor or something. You're like a reporter to investigating an asylum of sorts. I get out of the little van cutscene and then begin walking towards the building. Up in the top left corner, there is a window that flashes briefly with a person looking out of it, and then they disappear from that window. I promptly paused the game, handed the controller to my best friend, and said, "Nope, you can play." And I did not look back. Not for a moment did I change that. I did not pick up the controller again. I said, "Nope, you can play." And that's how we went forward. Meanwhile, this man, brave as can be, literally, I was like, "Nope, you can play." He was like, "Ah, come on." He memes this game so quickly. He becomes a report. It's to this day one of the funniest bits I think he ever did. Where instantly, I'm sat there still like near pissing myself from this game. It's like even the jump scares still get me, and this man's pretending to be the reporter, and he's like, "I need to get the story for the boss," and he starts like the monster would appear in a moment that's meant to make you run away. He runs towards it. He's like, "Excuse me, Mr. Man," like I forget the name. It's like Mr. Johnson or something. He's like, "Excuse me, Mr. Johnson, you got a comment for the Herald? What do you like?" "Sir, Mr. Johnson, the Times wants a comment. Oh my God. Oh my God, it killed me. I remember it killed me as a bit. It was so funny. Yeah, it was literally like, it was like, "I want photos of Spider-Man." I was like, my God. Mez didn't get to the scary part. I absolutely did. There was a man appeared in the window. That was scary. I did not wish to continue. Leave the window, jump into Outlast. Yeah, exactly. Could he outlast any % speed? It literally was though. I was like, "Nope, we're done. You can take it." In the same, I'll put it this way. So like that same friend like just loves horror movies, loves them. I remember wanted to we were gonna have a sleepover one night as like a little horror movie night kind of thing. And I was like, "Yeah, okay." I don't like them. I don't like them one bit. So we're there. He's like I think it's one of the it's that really old like I Know What You Did Last Summer or whatever. Like the guy with the hook hand, basically. And you know, he's got that booted up, but it's going, and I'm like, And then his younger brother from the other room is playing like, I don't know, Europa or something like that, or he's like playing like a StarCraft, or maybe it was even like an Age of Empires kind of game. But anyway, because this is the same friend, for those who remember a previous previous stream where I mentioned this. This is the same friend who introduced me to that kind of video game to begin with, and so it's the same guy. But then his younger brother's like in the other room playing this other video game, and I go over. I started like just watching his younger brother, and like to the point that he starts like calling. He's like, "Nap, are you coming back? Are you?" Like he's like, at first he's like blaming his younger brother. He's like, "Stop distracting my friend." I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's distracting me. Yeah, totally, man. I want to watch this movie with you, but gee whiz, I don't want to be mean to your younger brother. That's all." Like, I'm just flat out finding any excuse to be in like a different room. I'm hearing the like horror movie noises of this just horrific movie going on in the other room, and I'm like, yeah, I'll be over in a minute. Oh my god. Oh jeez. Oh sweet Jesus. Man, door, hand, hook, car, door. What? Vintage in 321. What's 321? In Glee, a pregnant Rachel Berry goes to the Tonys because she's been nominated. She wins the award, and mid-acceptance speech does go to the... I'm sorry, what? Do you not know about the man, door, hand, hook, car, door? No, I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds like you're describing the hash slinging, the hash slinging, the slash slinging, the bash flinging, the slash slinging slasher from SpongeBob. Like, that's what it sounds like you're referring to. Edward the I'm pretty sure that movie predates Edward. I'm pretty sure I Know What You Did Last Summer is a movie from like I want to say like the early 80s. Maybe mid, but I think it's like pre anybody in this stream. Minus like a few people who occasionally show up that I know are a bit older, but like other than that. Have you ever seen the Bye Bye Man? I'm sorry, what's the Bye Bye Man? What does that mean? You can't, don't just throw that out, just like tee-hee. Like, don't just lob that at me like I'm meant to know what that is. I'm gonna have, you can't do that to me. Man door, hand hook, car door is a classic internet moment. Oh, I've no idea. I'm very bad about knowing classic internet moments, it appears. There's been many a time, like it's been explained now a few times, so I vaguely understand it. There's like a thing about Loss, which is like a little comic where like, I guess the idea was deconstructionism and to like make the most modern art-esque version of this meme where it becomes just a bunch of sticks, and that's apparently a long-standing internet meme. And so that was explained to me at one point, I think a couple months ago. And I was like, oh, okay, but apparently that's like a big thing. But yeah, so there's a number of those kind of things that I just really don't know anything about, for whatever reason. I just simply never, I never got that notice, you know? I wasn't at work that day, I guess, you know? I was like, geez, just missed it. Ooh, that's rough. Shucks. You know? Why would you do that to me? Why would you? Why? This is where I watch my parents die, Raphael. Cowabummer, dude. Then who was the phone? What? I'm sorry. I know what you did last summer. I said I'm gonna ready for your marriage, pre-Daphne and Freddie from Scooby-Doo. Oh, I did not know that. I did not realize they were in that movie. The Bye Bye Man is the classic. How you've never seen it? You gotta see it. There's a lot of classics I haven't seen. You got most of it, yeah, but part of the fun of Lost is hiding and finding the lines in obscure places, and the part is the shock of the original content on comparison of the cruddy gamer comic it normally was. Had actual IRL friends and didn't live on the internet. I mean, well, when you put it like that, it sounds judgmental and mean. Like it's, you know, when you say it like that, it doesn't sound very nice. That's like a mean way to put it. He's like the Hulk, but he's a mean Hulk. Man, Prosy, he's what a funny guy. What an absolute, what a funny little guy. Oh yeah, how's the volume of the game and music and everything, by the way? Because I think all my audio settings got kind of like just absolutely geschmeckled. So I've kind of been dealing with that as of late, and so I'm hoping to like have that fixed. And I think I got it mostly fixed by the time that this stream came around, but I wasn't totally sure. All good? Sick. I'm also not very good about internet stuff either. Let's go. But even I know the man door, hand hook, car door. To be fair, I think I might have overestimated the cultural significance of the very niche level of internet humor that I subscribe to. I mean, I feel like that's just like part of the internet at this point. There is so many niches that feel so popular when you're in that, but it's like I referenced a TikTok on the last stream where I was like, oh yeah, you guys of course have seen this TikTok, and I think everybody, including Tyler, was like, I just remember Tyler distinctly being like, no, Nap, we're not on straight TikTok. I don't know what you're talking about. Yosemite? Like, what in the hell is even that? And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I was like, ah. And then I was like, I don't think I am though, MJ. I don't think I am, because I don't, and mind you, when I say that, I mean, given the fact that you guys refer to that as just being like the base TikTok, base TikToks, like the dances and the like Charlie D'Amelio type stuff, and then like drama trends, like that is the most pervasive side of TikTok. And that's not what I'm on. I'm on mostly like animation TikTok. I get like a lot of just random like lore and Lord of the Rings and D&D stuff, and like that's a lot of what I get. And then sometimes, yeah, I'm on a rotating vegetables with dubstep. Yeah, I know. Oh my god. It's fiendish. It's truly a fiendish style of TikTok. I don't know how you get to there. You're on an acceptable TikTok. Yeah, well, I mean, most of what I like, it's either like world building stuff or briefly, because Pink sent me a bunch of TikToks. My whole For You page shifted. It shifted on me entirely because I made the mistake of opening these TikToks, and then boom, suddenly all I have is Pedro Pascal in just so many compromising positions that I don't need nor want to see, and it's so confusing. Lo and behold, like nearly 60-year-old man is not exactly what I need on my For You page. Like, I'm like, why did you send me this? They were trying to prove a point, I guess, and I think it failed to prove the point they were trying to make, but I digress. Me and a girl go to drive in a moonlight, and they stop on the side of the road. He turns to the girl and he's, baby, I love you very much. What is it, honey? Oh, our car's broke down. I think the engine's broke. I'll walk, he has fuel. Good idea, keep the doors locked. So the guy left the full car. After 2 hours, the girl says, where is he? Where's my baby? He's supposed to be back by now. And then the girl hears a scratch in her voice, says, let me in. Girl doesn't do it, and after she goes to sleep, the next morning she wakes up and finds her boyfriend's still not there. Go check man door, hand hook, door car. What? I'm sorry, what? It is amazing how removed I am from base TikTok. I mean, if you ever want to see like base TikTok, simply open TikTok on a desktop browser, and that stuff is wild. I don't even know. Like base TikTok, I think, has a lot become the people who be like, it's just a bunch of notification sounds and people going like thumbs up with the caption of like, huh, what happens if you join my live? And that's just really weird. But I think that's also just the side of I make this stream, and the first thing I hear is so we were talking about you, Pink. Oh my god. Base TikTok is a bunch of android cyborgs and robotic constructs. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. Well, no, base TikToks actually, people play bass guitar. It's so close to gay TikTok. I mean, maybe. I was mostly telling them, Pink, about how you know, my For You page has been corrupted by TikToks you've sent, so that now I just keep getting Pedro Pascal randomly showing up in my feed, which I don't know why. I have no need nor interest, man. I don't need any of that. The thing that amazes me in Minecraft, or sorry, I read that already. Well, see, that's the thing, is like, from what you guys have described, I think I just kind of am on what would be, and that's what, like, I've always referred to it as just like alt TikTok, because it seems to just be more alternative to the base. It's not like what's on quote unquote traditional TikTok, but it's also not, these are the wrong trees. I needed spruce. What am I doing? I mean, like, this is not unuseful to have. It's just She's not the type of tree I meant to grow. I'm losing my marbles. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm not on what's, I guess, what you'd refer to as quote unquote straight TikTok, because like it just doesn't have like Critical Role stuff isn't showing up on that, you know? Like I'm not gonna learn about like for instance, the TikToks that I get are how to make like interesting effects or cool, like for instance, like I learned a really interesting practical effect for how to make like ground meat looking substances if you ever wanted to make that for like a video or for like a stage or something, like prop design, because I don't know, that's interesting, like the history of prop design and stuff like that. Fun fact, Rice Krispie treats, the best way to do it. Add a little food coloring and it grinds up real good. You can also use dough that's food colored, or like maybe even I don't know, like tofu works as well. If you like dye some tofu a little bit and then you can like grind it up that way. So when it comes out, it looks like slime meat. But Rice Krispies look the best and last the best under like different lighting. It's totally all TikTok. You gotta spruce it up. What's up? How you doing? Yo, what's up, man? TikTok gets real interesting when your feed starts being full of videos with 3 likes. It gets wacky fast, all right? The people that I know who like, I have friends who just send me TikToks that are literally just the most inane things. Like I thought I had already seen for lack of a better word, postmodernist memes of like the breakdown of comedy to where it becomes just the like Hampter and stuff like that. No, it can go deeper apparently. It can go a lot deeper, and boy do I have friends who know that, because I am deeply familiar with the dubstep pickle, or like or radish, or whatever food, where it's just 3 slides, and each slide's a different chunk of the piece of food, and it's all just set to some random dubstep. Oh my god, it's like named Jonathan. Like underneath it, it's like a pickle, and it's like Jonathan at the end. Like, what even is that? What is that? Oh my god. Or like pictures of a random dude with some random song in the background with like 9 likes. He's a snowball. I see one transfer one day, like follow next I see 2 follow somehow Transformers or Transfems. I'm so sorry. I totally misread that. Dadism, my beloved. What? Whopper, quarter, Whopper. I am doing very good. Went to a party. Oh, sick, dude. Oh, well, that last part's not so good. Hung out with a very cool guy. Oh, that's Pog. Got an A, Latin and A on native language. Yo, let's go. I do have a lot of the Whopper, quarter, Whopper. Like, I also have a lot of Carter Pewterschmidt currently with a hat. There's a hat on. And he's moving around furniture. That's his thing. He's like, Babs is at the market, man, let the bird out. Anyway, I digress. That sounds inane. I'm not gonna get further into that. Hate the ads? Well, let me introduce you to Twitch Prime! A wonderful way to skip any ads that you may or may not be getting. Dadaism, it was a weird time in art, but it would include, I'm sorry, what? Dancing, walking, rearranging furniture, Babs's, shopping, I let the bird out, do. Oh my god, that guy I met is way too good to be true. A major flaw within him. He's too perfect. You met Fabio. I've completely lost track of what's going on. Uh-oh. Honestly, that makes 2 of us. I'm meant to be getting spruce wood, but I've been too distracted by Carter Pewterschmidt to even do that. I've been too enraptured. Oh, I've seen that one so much. Yeah, that one's just, I think, popular right now. Just like dancing, walking, rearranging furniture. I'm on Napoleon TikTok and I want to get. Oh! Why? actually, a total wild thing happened today. Like, it's rare that this happens, and occasionally it does, and it always like blows my mind. Which, let me preface it by saying, guys, not that it is necessarily any of you. I don't know who it is. I don't recognize the TikTok name, like the person's name, but they were commenting on somebody. I was mentioned by like 3 or 4 people in somebody else's TikTok in their comments, which is not unheard of. Like, it happens occasionally, but it was like this person's like, this guy's just copying Napoleon the Same. He's even using the same cadence, and I was like, guys, other people are allowed to talk about the lore in Minecraft. Like, I don't have a cornered market there, man. It's not like just me. It's not like only I'm allowed. I mean, that'd be funny if it was that way, but it ain't. But anyway, it was just such a weird thing where I was like, thanks, I think. Like, it's fine. You know, I feel bad now. I feel like this guy's gonna be like, oh, man. Even though he shouldn't, like, it's not like he did anything wrong. He was just vibing out with his own little theories on stuff like that. I know of Dadaism, but I don't know very much about it. I saw a video essay on it once. See, I don't know if I'm just blanking right now like a dum-dum, or if I just genuinely don't know anything about it. Both are possible. No, but if we answers me and says we could watch the new episode of Last of Us, did you use so fast? Well, I mean, thanks. That makes me feel good. Can't believe Chatter just outright was like, hey, yeah, I'm just gonna leave for something better. Wow. He's hotter. You don't even know what I look like. Maybe I am Pedro Pascal. You don't know. Oh my god. When did Twitch etiquette die? Long time ago. I can still remember how the music used to make me smile. Man, I'm rockin' but with incarnation in a pickup truck. But I know. It equals Pedro with voice changer. Exactly. I could be. Oh my god. I tunnel visioned onto American Pie there for a minute. My bad. Oh my god. He gave me a book of recommendations. He's also very suspicious to me. I don't know, Walt. He seems kind of sus. I don't know. Couldn't remember the song you were singing for a second. Pick, why do you sit there? That's what I'm saying. Why? Oh my god. Is infected. Literally, my For You page has become infected because I just like, oh, a TikTok was sent to me. What's this? And it's just literally, he's like 60. That's not even in the realm of possibility for what I need to be seeing on my, let alone a man, but like, he's 60. Like, oh my god. Like the Mando stuff, like, yeah, sure, it's Mando, that's cool. But my god. Oh, sweet Jesus. But he may have money, so like, you know. Edward, come on. And, oh my god. And my whole For You page has just become infected by it at this point. I get no say in the matter. I get no say. He's not like 60. Is he 60? Is he 60? Is it that he's not like 60? He just is 60? Is that what it is? $20 is $20. That is not true. Matt Mercer is a pretty cool guy. I mean, well, that's different if you're talking about Matt Mercer. That's something entirely different. If you're talking about the Critical Role cast, that's something entirely different. We're on a different subject in that scenario. But listen, we're not getting into that subject. moving right along. 47. Potato. Chat, I know he wasn't really 60. I just like memeing Pink because Pink has a type. I don't know what was going on in chat message. Was not related to anything. Sorry. Oh well, no wait. Well, in that case, even still, like, oh yeah, Matt Murtha's pretty neat. I'm so thrilled with this latest season of Vox Machina. By the way, for any of you who haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. You know what you could watch it with Amazon Prime, and if you had Amazon Prime, you could in fact have a Twitch Prime. I'm a sellout, baby. Woo! Oh my god. Oh, speaking of, I did mean to mention earlier, just because y'all were mentioning stuff like that. Yeah, the current sub goal is not a horror game. It is in fact a you laugh you lose, but the benefit is of the loss is it should I so lose, well, you get to pick whatever game it'll be. So you like, it's no longer me being like only this horror game. If you had a specific one you wanted, that would be the time to lead a vote on it. But I digress. It just has taste. No! Oh my god. Oh my good gracious. What was I gonna say? Oh, there was a message I read that I meant to respond to it that I didn't. S tier plug. Oh, thank you. I worked so hard on it. Outlast. No, not Outlast. You know what? I'm gonna veto one of them. I'm gonna veto something. All right, listen. I'm more likely to play Alien Isolation than I am to play Outlast. My God, I'm not looking to have a hernia. I'm too old for that. I'm 58. I could be. What if I had a heart attack and died? Then what, chatters? It would be a devastating day. Truly a devastating day for the Napoleon community. Oh, play Alien Isolation, way scarier. Wait, no, I did not realize that. I assumed it wasn't. It's by the same people who make the Total War games. It's by Creative Assembly. I assumed it was not that bad. What do you mean? Let's play Death Stranding so I can obnoxious about another. Oh my god, not Norman Reedus. That man looks like he hasn't showered. What about Norman Reedus? You know what? I'm gonna cut that conversation there. Based on my statement alone, I don't need to know anything more about Norman Reedus. We're gonna moving right along. Do 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 do. Oh my god. If you have a heart attack, then well, sub with Twitch. Oh my god. You know what? No, I don't want to promise that. I don't want to promise that in the slightest. I was gonna say heart monitor horror game, but no, that sounds like a horrible idea. That sounds so awful. Oh, Choo Choo Charlie was bad enough, man. You guys did not need to know anything more. Napoleon Reedus. Oh my god. He has a crossbow. The Walking Dead and also Boondock Saints. I remember brief mention of Subnautica playthrough. Did that happen? I missed it, or is maybe happening in the future? No, that's not happened. It's on the list, I believe, of potential games for sub goals. So like I keep an ongoing list from games that you guys have shown and expressed interest in having them be sub goals, which, you know, I cycle through every so often, and that's usually what the 50 subs is, and then that's a game, and then normally 100 is something in person, but in this case, and then 150 is usually a horror game. Instead, we've gone to 150 to be a you laugh you lose challenge, and then should I lose, you can pick any game, which is more control than I normally give up, because normally I wish to at least know what horror game I'm getting myself into. Oh my god. Opportunities for horror so often. I know I'm setting myself up for failure. I hate it, but I know you guys like it, and so I do like to at least provide you what you enjoy, even if it pains me. Oh, that's why I gathered all that. Oh, and I left the oak in the. I need my oak to get the fence. I'm building another one of those things, by the way. If that wasn't clear, if it wasn't clear what I was doing. Make them play Dead Space? No, you shouldn't. In what world? I feel like you'd at least enjoy some of the analog looking technology. Okay, well that's fair, but that's just because Scott Ridley knows how to make a series. That's different. That's different. Oh my good gracious. See, I presumed because it was a creative assembly game, it wouldn't actually be that scary. I presumed it was probably just like, yeah, because it's something very different. They normally just make the Total War games. That's like their one thing they decided to like go out of their way and make. And I was like, oh, okay. Sure, why not? You know? Oh, it's terrifying? That's not, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that in the slightest. I don't wish to know that. Something kind of cute about Dead Space. Not the game itself, but how I first learned about it. Was it your husband? I don't know. Was it like, is that the cute factor that it's like a long-standing like that was a wedding gift or something? What if we just make Nat play COD Zombies timeline from start to fit? 24-hour stream, baby! Oh my god. No! Oh my sweet. See, you guys are missing the thing here. The you laugh, you lose has to happen first, and then I have to lose. I would just not laugh. You see, I don't think you guys know my sense of humor well enough to be able to instigate me to break all the lives I'm gonna have. It'll be like probably 3 to 5 because that's the standard. And then I don't think you guys are too confident in your ability to provide videos that would make me laugh that I would lose. I don't see it happening, man. We are under the assumption you will lose. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Is you're assuming. You're assuming. And you know what they say about assumptions. Or, well, what they say about assuming, I should say. Just saying. I'm just saying. In high school, Mr. Pinky used to write me notes in a code that I didn't know. I had to break the code, and we would eventually wrote letters to each other in that code. Oh, that's cute. I found out months later that there's a code from Dead Space. Oh, wow, that's kind of cute. Cue the snake and sprinkles videos gets everyone. The snake in what? This snake in what? What do they say about it? Oh, well, you know, it's you know, it makes assuming it makes it makes you look silly. That's what they say. They say assuming makes you look silly. You see. We literally just start writing down things we say and that make you break laughing. No, because it just doesn't happen, you know? It's not a good example. That's a horrible example. That was simply, no, that wasn't something that made me laugh. That was something that just caught me off guard in the moment. It's totally different. Sprinkles is very low but never zero. I mean, that's true, but I suppose the same could be said about a snake in pudding. Do you guys know that the largest earthworm ever found was like nearly 1 meter long? I did not, and it wasn't thin either. It was like a thick boy. Like, did you realize earthworms in Australia get to be like are kind of half the size in thickness, like in width around, but in length at the same size as those like 1 foot gummy worms? Like those things just exist. I did not realize worms could be that big. I didn't know that was like allowed. I didn't think that was like reasonably something I had to ever consider. As like, oh yeah, that just happens sometimes. Makes you silly. Yeah, exactly. The age-old saying. Oh my god, I heard Nap is telling y'all lies. What do you mean? What lies? Who did I lie? Who snitched first and foremost, but also second of all, the Alaskan bullworm. Oh my god. Oh my god. KTV, no, who told you what and why? What did they tell you? They probably lied to you. Is that out by 1 or is that just over top? I genuinely can't tell from here. Well, it doesn't need to be this big in the middle. I didn't really look before coming over, and that's my mistake. Also gonna need some logs. A 2.5 meter long and weight 100. At that point though, is it a centipede? Like at that length, is it still only 100 feet? Like 100 like individual legs? And then are those legs just bigger than normal? Like how does that work out is what I guess I'm asking. Like, is it still a centipede at that point though? Or is this morphed into something just horrific and new? It feels like it's morphed into something horrific and new if you ask me. 2 out, and then it just... Yeah, so 2 out from the center on all sides. Make a box. And then put these in front of that. All right, and that's spruce. Okie dokie, that's not too terribly difficult. And this does not jut out at all, it seems like. Yo, LG Joshy, thank you so much for the follow, dude. I appreciate it. I'll do. Oh no, it does go out by 1 all the way around. Okay. Poggers.
OMG, I am almost a year old.
Oh my god, Oliver, a year already. Good googly moogly. Thank you so much for the sub, dude. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. How you doing today, man? I like the skin. Hey, thanks, man. Hello, unusual. How do? Hey, thank you so much for the follow, dude. Hey, oh, Topher. No, his name's unusual, not Topher. You silly goose. That's not his name. Doing good, how are you? Well, I'm getting absolutely roasted by my own chat, so nothing's really new. They are just actively preying on my downfall, as they do, you know. They seem rather inclined to do this on the regular, for whatever reason, you know. I try to give them a nice life, a good life in this world. No, they won't have it. You know what movie, by the way, I really want to see? I really want to see The Banshee of Inverness. Well, okay then. It looks really good. I really like Colin Farrell to begin with. Like, I think he's a good actor. Even just beyond that, it just seems like a really interesting movie. Right on your downfall is the only reason I have a semblance of religion left in me. Oh my sweet Jesus. No, you don't. Oh my God. That can't be a religion. That's not a religion. You don't get to decide that. Losing my religion. Right, so I think just right here then. That'll be 2. I think, right? Because that's 2, and then this should be the yeah, 1, 2. And then this will be where that goes. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Nope, it's a little too forward. 1, 2, and then right here. Bada bing and bada boom. Perfect. Just like Mama used to make. Royal Emperor Napoleon. The M is silent for and invisible mostly. Whoa! Oh my god. I think it only requires 3 people to start a religion. I think that we have more than enough to make that happen. No, I don't think so. And no, it takes 3 to start a cult. A religion needs to be state-sponsored. Very different things. You need to be tax exempt. And you, my friend, are not tax exempt. These are very different things. Oh, I need to go get more of the hardened clay. Or terracotta, or whatever it's called. I talked to my dad about amazing The Last of Us. My dad goes about the game or show, but allowed me to ramble 5 minutes. Oh my god. You're talking about Pedro Pascal again! I can't escape this man! I am if I want to be? Oh my god. I'm tax exempt because I don't pay tax. Oliver, don't say that. Don't say that. All the king's horses and all the king's men will come find you, my friend, and they're not gonna put you back together again. They will send them. They'll be like, did somebody say they weren't paying taxes? That's how they'll talk too. Exactly like that. That's not how any normal human talks, but it's gonna be how they do. Taxes are for the old. Oh my god. Mans has never been to a store and paid sales tax ever. Not even once. The IRS for the British. I mean, I assume the IRS for the British is just literally all the king's horses and men. Like, I mean, literally it is. It just is, right? Like, that's not even hyperbole. Like, at that point, it just is. I mean, maybe there's no horses involved, I guess, but it is the king's men showing up. Going, all right, what's all this then? It kind of just is. Everyone's employed, like they would be government employees and therefore employees of a crown. I think I'm right here, man. Probably like a crown corporation or whatever. Like, you know, like I think I'm correct. He says, I mean, it will, cause you know, the game. But oh my god. But get most of them back because the government thinks I'm poor. I mean, I am. Oh my god. The government's gonna look at you suspiciously though, and they're gonna be like, alright, what's this subscription to own Napoleon? Can't be doing that if you're poor. Lisa, you don't understand. Wait, how do you make white, how do you make white dye? It's, is it not made with bone meal anymore? Oh no, it can be. Okay, I was like, is it not? I could have swore it was able to be made with bone meal. And yeah, we'll keep it like that for now, and we'll put these back here for now, because why not? That's a good way to do things. Do I need to go cut down some spruce trees? Yes, I do. How do I have like none every time I look? All right, we're gonna quickly run out to where we grow all the spruce trees. We're gonna gather them all up, and then I don't know, cry. Like I don't know. We're gonna do something. We're gonna figure this out. It's you and me, chatters. It's us versus the world. When the world turns it back on you, you turn your back on the world. Timon, that doesn't really sound like very good advice. It's fine, Simba. It's fine. You ever think about how that song that he sings about wanting to be king is really just a song wishing his dad was dead? Just me? Okay. Can I check? Good night, Grad. Have a good night, man. Have you thought of installing shaders? Watch. They're gonna just yell at. Yeah, they're just gonna yell at you about lore. They're gonna yell at you so quickly about lore, man. I believe me. I have shaders. I have shaders, and all I am instantly met with whenever they are on is just lore, because normally I have them on when it's lore time, and so they're always like, oh, lore, oh my god. SMH. So yeah, they're always like, no, we see him. They're very much the Leonardo DiCaprio meme of they're like, oh my god. What I could use, I normally use complimentary. That's my favorite one. Sildur's I like. It's a little too animated for me, but I do like that it actually makes the leaves rustle and stuff like that. Like it actually, I find it a little too, I don't know, bright for what I guess I would like in like a shader, but it's nice. I got like Sildur's. See, yeah, I feel like it's nice. I just think I like complimentary's toned down look a bit better. Just overall. But it is nice. Did I arrive in time for lore? Navi, please answer me. No, it's not lore. Also, hi, medicine. Please. They just wanted shaders. I'm too disconnected to worry about lore. Good googledy-moogledy. Yeah, see, I also don't know how I feel about the water look in Sildur's. It's really blue for like no reason. Whereas it's just a little more, I don't know, it's like more dark in the basic complimentary one. I also need to get working back again on the, that's actually what I meant to work on this stream. We started working on the, I just instantly started working on the, whatchamacallit, the windmill, but what I meant to work on this stream, hence the title of the stream, is actually that I intended to work on the high street again, because I didn't want this to just sit and set for too long. We gotta get some more work done on it. But first, we're gonna go gather up the actual whatchamacallit. One second, let me jump in. Yeah, see, I don't like here, one second, like versus shaders, complimentary. I prefer the complimentary one. I think there's this Sildur's for yeah, like I like this look I think a bit better, where it's just more like and that's in a swamp, so it's meant to be swampy looking water. And I like that it's not like a really like cartoonish blue, if that makes sense. Just stealing my freedom of expression. Oh my good gracious. I'm just gonna turn it back. I also just quite like, oddly, like I know some people disagree. But in the same way that like I'm not huge on modded stuff, I'm actually pretty. I'm also a big fan of the base Minecraft look. I don't know why. There's like technically I currently have on a texture pack of sorts. It just barely changes anything. Like it just makes glass be smooth and not like have the weird trim around it. But then also it has it has the issue of wait, actually, never mind. You guys don't get to know that. Never mind. American Southern. Well, yeah, good for you. Woohoo. I guess we're... Why is it always the same accent, huh? Why is it always that you want some terrible version of a Southern accent? It's not even a good one. I don't rightfully do no good Southern accent. It just sort of is a drawl I add to my voice. It's not really much more. Homesick? Oh, well, now I feel bad. Now I just feel bad for clowning on it. I should play on my hardcore world more often. I mean, only way to make it do anything is to play on it. For me, I'm really proud of it. I don't know. I'm really proud that I'm like a year and a half in and haven't died. Like to not die once in a year and a half on a world in Minecraft, that feels like an accomplishment. Soon to be 2 years. Well, in 6 months it'll be 2 years. Did I leave anything in these furnaces? For an eye? Nope, don't think you do. Oh yeah, and here's the outer wall that we never got finished with. Because it's the northern gate of the actual empire. Slowly but surely it builds, but my god, is it slow at times. Physics mod for Minecraft where it overhauls the water and makes realistic. Oh, yeah, and if you jump on it or jump in it, it even does like the little like drip splash up or whatever. Like it does like a bloop. like with a little shot of water going up to like indicate where you landed. There's some crazy little mods like that just like quality of life things or whatever, or like add realistic physics to like just how everything works in it. Yeah, oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, the one that like if you're in a boat, it's more like an actual ocean. Yeah, that one's insane. I think I saw a TikTok with that in it, where I was like, oh my god, I'm seasick just looking at it. Like, yo, Thunder Dude, what's up, man? I'm here to do the funny. Oh my god. I love modded but hate modded Minecraft that doesn't suit the textures of the base game. I think the only one that I have a soft spot for, yeah, probably the only one is like, well, yeah, probably just Tekkit. Tekkit and Technic are really the only mods that I have like soft spots for. They're like, they get crazy, don't get me wrong, but like, they're definitely the only ones that I actually have that kind of genuine soft spot for. I'm like, yeah, I like it, you know. I just don't think I'm not tired of basic Minecraft. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people I know who I won't name, but like I know other creators who like have talked to me and they've been like, yeah, I can't play base Minecraft anymore. It's too boring. All this. I just don't get it. Like it's never gotten boring for me, and I've never really taken like the longest hiatus I think I ever took from Minecraft was probably about 2 years, and in that time it was is just like I came back right after the Nether update came out, and that's when I came back to the game. But for the 2 years prior to that, so I guess I wasn't playing 2014 and 15, but otherwise I still like played it occasionally or whatever, or would have like a yearly like server that you start with your friends kind of thing, and then inevitably peters out because it just does. But I don't know. Oh, the kneecap tax, my god. I love the create mod. That's like the only mod that I really like. What's that mod guy? Like the name sounds familiar, but and don't get me wrong, there's some really cool mods that are out there. Like I like the Aether is interesting enough, and same with Twilight Forest for like older ones. But like there's some really cool like quality of life mods for like farming updates and stuff like that. Just because like a lot of people really do want a farming update. I mean myself included. Like just I do like it. I don't think I agree with the mod in the sense that like I don't think I need a knife and like all the like cutting boards and all these things. Like that doesn't feel like Minecraft at that point to me. I'm like that's really like you're just trying to play Stardew in Minecraft at that point, in which case just play Stardew. Like that stuff's not really something that I'm interested in, but I am interested. I do hope that like what I want from farming is I want them to add corn, and I want them to add tomatoes, and I want Tomato-nator. Have any of you ever seen that photo actually of the person who went to Wendy's and got the Tomato-nator, and it's like a Baconator, but it's just got a massive, just literal tomato just with the top and bottom cut off and put into the sandwich. Like it's like a whole tomato in their sandwich, and they were like, they gave me the Tomato-nator. Kills me. That happened to me once actually. I mean, not exactly. I went to McDonald's and I was gonna get a McChicken. And I ordered a McChicken, but I wanted to add a slice of tomato to it. So I was like, oh, can I add tomato like on one of the digital like inputs? And then what happened was they gave it to me, but it had no McChicken. They gave me a McChicken without the chicken. They just didn't add the McChicken part to it. It was purely, it was the buns, a little lettuce, mayo, and then just a big hunk of tomato, which was not what I asked for. Like, in no world was that what I had asked for. I wanted a genuine, just add a slice of tomato to my McChicken. But no, they full on just get, which I mean, I didn't mind. I wasn't gonna like make a big stink. I was just gonna be like, oh, well, actually, if it was like, if they left off the tomato, I wouldn't have even gone back, because, you know, I'm not gonna go bother anybody about that. But like, I was like, well, the chicken burger's kind of why I ordered this, so I'm gonna go ask. And I did it. Oh my god! But like, and it was just an honest mistake, and they just made me a new one. It was fine. But like, I remember my friends at the time lost it. Just like everybody was opening up their meal, and I just have 2 pieces of bread and a tomato on it. Like I was like, what? A potato? Oh my god. They just released that as like support for Ukraine. They're like, buy the McNATO today. Oh my god. Buy some freedom fries. I go. When I came back from work visiting, I'm mocked by my work buddies because my accent was much more noticeable than normal. I mean, that kind of makes sense. You went back to, it's like, I've had a friend who's like Scottish before, where like anytime he was on, like you couldn't tell. He was very American. Like he had just a very normal candor of speaking kind of thing. I mean, he just didn't sound different from anybody else. And then anytime he was on the phone with his parents, he just sounds so Scottish instantly. Like he just instantly comes back, like a full accent comes back. And I was like, excuse me? And like he didn't even really notice that it like came back. And I was like, how'd you not notice? You became a different person. What do you mean? But anyway, I don't know. For like a farming or cooking update, I just kind of want some extra crops. Oh, and rice paddies. I'd like some rice fields and rice paddies, which I think maybe we'll get now that we're getting like the bamboo and stuff like that. Just because it means like they are clearly trying to add more diversity to like what you can build and like what kind of like settings and styles thematically you can make. And I feel like rice paddy fields just gonna make sense. Rice is a huge thing in the world. And they have bowls. Just make it take the suspicious stew texture out and make it like white and more grained like rice or whatever, and then just be like, there you go, you got a bowl of rice. Can you do a Joe Pesci accent? Oh my god, no. I can do a President Joe Pesci. Oh my god. I can do Joe Pesci from Home Alone, where they couldn't get him to not swear at all, at like to any degree. So what they ended up doing was just jargoning his lines. So that's why he says mother fudder, like F-U-D-D-E-R, constantly in that movie. It's just because like he couldn't operate totally not saying any curse word, and so then they just like fudge his line afterwards in post. It's like a little detail about that movie. They couldn't get him to not swear on Home Alone. And like it just would be how he talked, and they were just like, well, we'll fix it in post. Are surprisingly boring looking, very interesting as a thing, but boring to look at. What makes you say that? Do you ever consider the fact that you yourself are just a brain saying that you find it boring to look at one of yourself? Because realistically, your thoughts all just from your brain, and if your brain sees a brain and thinks it's boring to look at, that just means it thinks it's boring to look at. Like it thinks it itself, it is a hunk of meat that is itself deciding that it is, as an object, uninteresting to look at. Yeah, maybe you just have a boring brain. Why does that feel like it cuts deep? Why does that feel like it's that's just, it feels so cutting. I look at a lot of brains, yes. I try not to think. Just in general? Just like, at all? We are just meat automatons piloted by the brain. See, I want to know what would happen if we hooked up, like, which I don't think we ethically could do, but if we were able to, like, hook up a dolphin's brain to the nervous system of a human, because they're quite similar to our own, like, they look even visually kind of similar to our own brains, and are relatively complex brains comparatively. They're much larger than ours, and so I just wonder, I'm like, does that mean, like, is that indicative that you know, it would be a problem? It would die? No, I feel like we could figure it out. I feel like we could figure out a way to make it not die. Somehow, you know? I feel like it's doable. I'm not totally sure how yet, but I feel like we could figure out a way to do it, and the nervous system doesn't just simply die, you know? Some fun grammar things I say trip me up at work, and I just cringe internally every time it happens. Why? I like when people have accents. The death of culture is the death of accents, man. I think it sucks that, like, just the pervasiveness of television and the same accent in so much television has resulted in different accents slowly eroding. I think it's a real shame. I do. I think it's so funky that so many different, like, effective primates just went off into different sections of the world and make the same mouth sounds, but, like, have slight accents to how they pronounce that mouth sound simply because of the dialect they learned growing. Like, that's interesting, you know? Is describing the plot of Psychonauts? Is that the plot of Psychonauts? I've never played. I know nothing about Psychonauts, actually. Wait, didn't a sequel to that game just come out recently? Or like in the last year or so? I've been working on that form still. It needs so much information. And I was just so concerned when I tuned into Nap saying dolphins and hookup brain. Listen, I'm just saying, you know, it might be interesting to see what would be accomplished. New sub. This is unethical. What's ethics, you know? I am a man of science, Herr Doctor. Do not need your ethics. They said I was mad. A mad scientist. Ethics isn't the problem. If you argue hard enough to get anything past the ethics board, finding someone to do the operation is the challenge. True, that would be difficult. I saw Top comment on a video of saying her actual voice was weird and that her American accent sounds better. Hey, yo, what? See, that's no, but genuinely, like, seriously, like that kind of stuff, like the total dilution of like allowing people to have these very regional little tiny differences and idiosyncrasies on how we say words and the like that's so cool. That's so awesome and interesting. And I don't know, I think it's so sad that like there's so many because so many kids are now just kind of raised by internet and television and the like, and like what then the content they take in, that they're getting such a base English kind of thing, you know what I mean? Electricity tickles the meat and then juice comes out, which makes you feel good or bad depending on which juice it is. Oh my god. Sounded more natural. Oh my god. And see, that's the thing. Or well, it's the same way that like there's people who it's like those people who don't like when people talk in their first language around them. I've known people like that who like got mad at people who were speaking Spanish because they wanted like they thought it was rude to speak their main language, even, and I was like, how? That's their native language. Like, oh no, you have to do the more complicated thing of translating things. It's like that Modern Family moment where I forget the character's name, but she said like, do you have any idea how smart I am in Spanish? Which I think is a very real thing probably for a lot of different individuals who like English is not their first language. I imagine that must be very frustrating because I can associate that it's like the frustration I have where I know what I want to say in English but I don't know what the word is in French for what I'm trying to convey. You know what I mean? So like I just feel like that must be a real frustrating thing. So you're saying if I acquired a child and only exposed it to people speaking in super bad fake French accents, the kid will only speak with silly accent? I mean, yeah, like developmentally. I mean, there's kids who speak with a British accent because of Peppa Pig. Like that's not even a joke. Like because of how much Peppa Pig they watched, they just now speak with a British accent. Like they say water instead of water. Like, you know what I mean? Not that one's better than the other. I'm just saying like that's genuinely becoming something that's occurring. There's a lot of elementary school kids now who speak with an English accent having never gone to the UK. You know what I mean? because there's just like was a rise in television where the main character was British, or voiced by a British individual, I should say. I don't think Peppa Pig technically has a nationality, but yeah. I imagine things like Bluey is gonna cause certain individuals to have like Australian accents. I just need to make so many more fences that I keep making such limited numbers instead of just making like a whole bunch. Who thought that would happen when given a hypnotic induction? Oh my god. The new phenomenon is an Australian accent because of, yeah. I'm so happy you mentioned that. Yeah, exactly. No, that's a total like phenomenon that's currently occurring because of similar reasons. Yeah, it's just how much is like the kids being exposed to this other accent. And when you're a child, like it's the same reason why it's good. Well, debatably good. I mean, I would personally say good. If you have a different view, that's fine. To, you know, expose children to different languages so young. Like trying to teach a kid another language is a lot easier than it will be for them as an adult to try to learn another language. Simply because, you know, you just pick things up a lot easier as a kid. Because you're still, like, because a lot of adults fail to, in my opinion, like, realize that to learn another language, they really got to go back to, like, basics. And like my biggest failing originally in trying to learn French was that I always tried to just think of what I wanted to say in English. Like it sounds stupid, but I didn't see French as a language. I like if that makes sense. I didn't think, oh, this is a way to think. I thought, oh, what do I want to say in English and how do I say that in French? Versus just thinking of something in the language that is French because it's just a way of existing. You know what I mean? You saw it as a code. Yeah, exactly. I saw it as just like English in a code, instead of just giving it, like, seeing it as its own individual and distinct language that would have words that don't even translate. And so when you learn stuff like that, I didn't make the fences. When you learn stuff like that, like, it's important then to realize that, yeah, you have to relearn. Like, as a baby, it makes sense when someone's like, that's a window, that's a door. But like when you're like grown, you find it more difficult to get back into that state of mind of thinking on like how you should be perceiving various learning stimuli like that. You know what I mean? So that's one of the like major problems that like occurs when people are trying to learn a language when they're a lot older, is they're already too filled up. I've thought about the same thing because my family is born in Spanish, but not me. It's so weird. Which part? Like the learning part, or how you like try to fit something in English into Spanish? People associate hypnosis with exorcism, so people would convulse before they saw it as a way to negotiate with spirits and rituals. Ooh, it helps with that one. Yeah, 100% it does. Like, language is just a really interesting element to life. Oh, okay, yeah, no, totally. Yeah, exactly. And that's the issue that I ran into. Like, I would be thinking, I'm like, well, I want to say like if I was like, oh, which is the thing I commonly say is like, I only speak a little. I'm trying to convey that, oh, I only speak a little bit of French, and it's mostly just for like simple things like ordering in a restaurant or maybe simple conversation. Like, sure, in French that is je suis parlé un petit peu de français, c'est pas bien, c'est seulement pour l'ordre dans le restaurant ou pour le conversation de simplistique, I believe would be what that is. But that's like a very literal translation of what I'm trying to say, rather than I guess the difference would be like saying est-ce que je peux aller à la toilette versus est-ce que je peux aller à la salle de bain. In French, that's like a difference between saying, hey, can I go to the bathroom, and like what's seen as rude of being, hey, can I go to the toilet? Like, you're not wrong, it's just not how people actually talk. But it is literally asking to go to the toilet. And that's often how we teach French in different places, because we don't often see, and a lot of like high school courses on like language and stuff like that are often designed that way, because we're just seeing it as like telling the student how to translate what they're saying in English into another language. versus just totally viewing it as its own language, which is why immersion in languages tends to work so well for people. You know what I mean? I have to head out. Enjoy the rest of your stream. See you later, Smokey. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, dude. Bye. Small note, both examples used the color thing I talked about probably occurred at different times, but I'm not sure if they were at the same time. I mean, it's very interesting. Hypnosis in general is a very interesting phenomenon. Or sorry, no, not the hypnosis. That what Thunder was. I read Thunder's message at the same time. But yeah, like the which is why Homer called the sea wine dark, as describing its color, even though seawater is not remotely similar color to wine. Well, also in fairness, what a lot of people get mistaken because of a lot of well, largely the Americanization of Greek culture is funny, or the Anglicization, I should say, is that there isn't, I mean, modernly they can and do make some, and there were a few, but not really. Bacchus or Dionysus would never have been represented with red wine. Like, they didn't have red wine. And that's why the sea's called wine dark, because they had black wines, but mostly it was white wine. White wine is what most Greeks drank. Or ouzo, which I believe is like a it's a tree sap wine. It's pine tree sap. A lot of people don't like it who aren't like brought up with it, but yeah, it's its own thing. But that's like a whole aspect to Greek culture that that's often Americanized, is the idea of like, oh yeah, like Dionysus, red wine. Dionysus would never have been represented with red wine, though. That's a very modern push onto that god as an idea. Take it can often be used, such as shower, take medicine, take your time, but that doesn't translate overall in all language. Yeah, absolutely. You should be a history teacher. You make it seem so interesting. You're too kind. I considered being a teacher at one point. I don't think that is what I will get my education for. I considered it. I don't think I could deal with it. I think I'd be a pretty poor teacher. All things considered. But it's kind of you to say, though. My beloved, I mean, well, I mean, but also it makes sense, Edward, in the sense of even if you consider the Mediterranean diet of being fish and these other like white wine pairs with those things, but also red wine just wasn't something that was made at the time. It's just not something they really had, and that's an element of anglicized culture and the like. This book's super helpful to catch me reading Franklin in desperate attempt to learn. No, I mean, absolutely. Children's books are great. Like, that's the thing. What a lot of people don't realize when they try to learn another language is you need to try to learn it like you're a child again. Like, you don't know a language, which is why immersion works, because then you are stranded somewhere and need to know the language. You need to know it because that's what everyone speaks. And if you want to get any sort of communication to somebody, you need to understand what they're saying. And like a little infantile child, you point at things and go, and they supply a word, and you go, yeah, assuming that's the correct word, because you pick it up, like, you'd pick up an apple and be like, une pomme, and they'd be like, oui, une pomme, or like a potato, like pomme de terre kind of thing, like, they'd be like, oui, and you'd be like, yeah, okay, I know what oui means, that means I did it, which is what children do, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's just how language is learned. And I don't know, there's like, I feel like a lot of people, like Duolingo is cool and all. It's never gonna actually teach you a language. I mean, it might get you like 75% of the way there even, but it really won't stick with you in any way. You know what I mean? And it won't make you sound natural in that language. It's just dirt apple. In literal translation, yeah, a potato is pomme de terre, apple of the earth. But that's the thing, is they don't see it that way. In French, they're not thinking, and that's what confused me at first. They're not thinking, oh yes, an apple of the earth. That's just what the object's called. It's called a pomme de terre. And then when somebody in English tried to translate that to English, we just literally took it as apple of the earth, terre. So like, that's why, like, it's weird to us, but it's like, to them, it's not, they're not saying that. You know what I mean? Like, they're not seeing it as them saying apple of the earth. That's just what that means in English. I don't even know if that makes sense, what I'm trying to convey right now. But my point is, like, that's just like our own perception on what they're saying versus what the actual language is trying to say. But oh man. Also, total side note, just because I was thinking about it earlier when I was talking about language, just because when I think about language a lot, I often think of Tolkien and all these other things. I was having this conversation with this guy, and then I had like this professor who's like a big linguistics guy, like he's like, but like big on Lord of the Rings as well, and like he's a Tolkien scholar. And this one guy in our class was real big on the whole idea of Brexit and all these other things. And I'm not getting into like whether that is or isn't a good thing, yada yada. Actually, I will, and it's bad. It's a bad thing. I don't care. I am well educated on the subject. It is a stupid thing, and it always was. It was never good. But anyway, this one individual was like me, because they were trying to like say like, oh well, Tolkien would have wanted this and da 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 and da 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 da. Because, you know, Tolkien famously was a very, like, anti-modernity, anti-like, change and all these other things. They were like, oh yeah, Tolkien wanted to make England again. And I still remember my prof being like, no, you don't understand how emphatic Tolkien was about that. Tolkien didn't want to make England again, as in pre-like World Wars England, pre-Victorian age England. No, that's still not England to Tolkien. Tolkien wanted to make England pre-Norman again. The Norman invasion to Tolkien is when England stopped being England. Which is insane. That's William the Conqueror. That is the beginning of all, like, not even just all modern, like, that's, anyway, like, to put it into perspective, that's, like, effectively being, like, make Rome again and just wanting to make it a Greek colony. You know what I mean? Being like, this was better when it was the Etruscans. Like, it stopped being Rome once the Romans made it a republic. That's like, Tolkien was that level of like, what the England that he missed was one that never truly make England great again. Oh my god. But it was literally like Tolkien is anti-Normans, not just anti like, he feels England lost itself when the Normans invaded, which is just such a totally different bar from like, oh, it's when all these when they like citizens of the empire showed up and all these other things, meaning, you know, like the various immigrants of like Jamaica and the like. But anyway, I digress. My point was just with language and everything, that just reminded me of that, and it's just such a funny little bit because I'm like, yeah, like, it's true, it's not wrong. It's like it very much is how Tolkien was, but it's just funny to be like, yeah. Why do you hate the French? Like, for what reason would you hate the French? I genuinely, I'm curious now. I have no idea why anybody would. I personally do not understand hatred for the French. I have never understood it in any context beyond like some historical, but that's just due to nationalism. Like, so interesting what people don't realize about their own language. I never realized the word beach sounds like a certain swear until a non-native speaker. I was nervous about taking a vacation to the coast. Oh my god. I have a Norman I hate. He ain't special. Oh my god. I like the idea that you're just like thinking of a person named Norman. You're like, yeah, I hate Norman too, man. That guy sucks. Like, no, not a guy named Norman. A man called Norman broke a cabinet at work, and I picked up the broken glass, and I had to do all the paperwork. Yeah, you were talking about a guy named Norman. Oh my god. I have good English equivalent for that. Pineapple, not an apple made of pine. Yeah, exactly. A pineapple is not an apple made of pine. That's a perfect example. But, and none of us would think of it that way. But again, like, yeah, so like the French aren't there like, oh yes, I love my apple of the earth. It's just the phrase they use. Normans were French. Oh, in a matter of speaking, you're not wrong. I mean, they're not the Franks. Like, they're not the French, which were the Franks at the time. The Normans are more, well, okay, so the Normans the Normans got Normandy from the French king because they were Vikings who came down from Sweden and Denmark and all these places, and they raided all the land near in France and nearly conquered all of France, but then basically the king of France at the time, I want to say it was a Charles of sorts, but anyway, basically he decided like, yeah, I'll give you this plot of land, we'll call it Normandy, and you can have that, settle down, a little less noise over there, you know what I mean? So technically Normans also weren't French, even though Normandy is in France, but also like, which is why when William the Conqueror goes over and conquers England, England used to control Normandy. Like Normandy was like that was also William the Conqueror going over is why there's so many French words in English, but I digress, and why, like, you know, Old English changed. Hydrates! Yes, they were French. Well, that's what I'm saying. They were not really French because they were not really French because the Normans, they came from Denmark and much more Nordic countries. They were not representative of the Franks and were also not connected to France nor to France nor the Franks in any really meaningful way. The Franks were very much under the reign of Charlemagne and the like, and were vraiment difficile de les nommer. C'est un peu une civilisation de votre choix. Oui? Je suis juste seulement parlé au français parce que le pink l'accent requesté. Je suis parlé au français. Pas un accent, juste seulement de la langue de France. Je suis demandé de tout faire. Oui, mais ça c'est bien, c'est beau content. You are not having a stroke. Pink requested an accent for French, and so then briefly I switched into French because I said, well, I could just not do the accent at all. I could just speak French. I'm mostly learning German, but I am learning a bit of French on the side for reasons. And, well, I can speak German very easily. I have such a hard time speaking it. Understandable. It's a very guttural language. I was so confused. Oui. C'est une langue confusement. That's interesting. That's interesting that you would have difficulty with speaking French. I find French to be a far easier language to grasp because English is on the cusp of I mean, technically English is both Germanic and Romantic in its existence, which is why it's one of those little of column A, little of column B languages. When I say romantic, I do not mean romantic like oui oui, not Pepe Le Pew romantic. What I mean is it is Roman, as in the nation and empire of Rome, like Julius Caesar and the like. It is Roman as a language, a romantic language, which is why it has a base in Latin and Greek, which is why Spanish, Italian, and French are all romantic languages. So a lot of people do believe they also have a romantic essence about them, which is totally separate from why they are called that. But I digress. I forgot about the other French person I worked with. My old coworker, she had a thick accent like this one. Was it? Wait, no. Edward, was it truly French, or was it l'accent de Québécois? My friend's poker friend was at one point the best Tetris player in France. Whoa! Ooh la la! About 70% of English vocabulary is from Latin, but it's grammatically a Germanic language. German is supposedly the easiest language to learn from an English base.
They say that, but I mean, oddly enough, although I've heard it from a great many people that Japanese is not easy to learn for English speakers, I actually learned from a professor of mine whose study is history of Japan and the like, that Japanese should be, and in his opinion is, one of the easier languages to learn for English speakers because all the sounds that exist in Japanese exist in English. All those same mouth sounds exist in the same. You know? Whereas certain other languages do not have the same sounds. They have different sounds. Like German, there's certain German sounds that just aren't in English. Professional Tetris player is the most disgusting thing. They go way too hard. The Finnish is a pain. Oh. Don't tell that to Bees. Speaking of, I hope Bees is doing well. I don't think I've seen them in the new year, but I hope they are doing well. But I believe their language is quite beautiful though. Creole is such an interesting linguistic phenomenon, like a halfway point between dialect and a language. Creole is such an interesting. It could be described as a language nouveau, a new language, kind of like Art Nouveau. In my opinion, at least, just because it's just very late to the game. All the other languages are settled, and it's the marrying of two different languages together. Oh, thank God, I don't gotta speak with a French accent anymore. My dude, I'd never try to compare the Quebecois accent to this. You have too much emotion to be Quebecois. Oh no, it can't be that bad. I just have too much of a passion in my French accent. I do like how that looks. You know what? We're going to probably leave that one. This needs a bit more work on its side. Let me try to lay something out. Let me try something new. No, I don't really want that to do that. But I do want this to likely come up this way, I think. Back into the accent. I have a problem, okay? You're free, no accent required. I know, I fall back into them. Any accent that I do, it's 5 minutes straight of doing an accent, so then I get more comfortable with it as I go. And then it's just, I fall into it after that more and more and more and more and more. It's a problem. The LR sound can be difficult with the Japanese in the near tonality, I guess. It makes more cadence. It's somewhat difficult. Mind you, I will say, the guy who told me that it's an easier language to learn knows 9 languages. So, like, I don't know if he's trustworthy on what is and isn't. I personally think he is just a genius and refuses to admit that to himself. And, you know, if you learn 9 languages, I don't know if you could comment on what is and isn't easy to learn. Like, you both are the person to comment on that, but then also I'm like, I don't know if you are though. You're not the average person anymore. You've ascended. You've become Ascended Sam. I mean, even Sam's not ascended anymore. Get it? Because you changed his name. Hey-oh! Swing! I didn't bring a cutting stone. I'm a bit of a dum-dum. I would go learn 8 additional languages and then come talk down to you about what is and isn't easy. Oh my god. Some people are really good at learning languages. Yeah, that's fair. Was it that dean who made Shakespeare joke at the state? No! And that wasn't the dean, that was the president of my university. It's worse. It's worse than the dean. And no, yeah, this is the president of my university who has an eidetic memory. So, I can't wait. I can't wait. Next time I see that man, oh boy. Gee Willikers, guys. I don't even have to say I hope he remembers. He just will. He just will. Or he's blocked it from his memory. Who knows? Maybe he bleached his eyes. I don't know. Maybe he decided it was horrific and he didn't wish to know. Who's to say? Actually, probably won't do that. It was a joke. Well, you know, I wish you the best of luck if you do. ASL, but then I was late signing up for my classes. Got a hearing teacher who completely ruined it for me. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. Bad teaching. Yeah, like bad teachers like that can always ruin subjects, in my opinion. To overwrite it. Oh, you're so right. I should just light the school on fire and then bada bing, bada boom. There's no way that he'll think of me that way. Or he will still, and he'll be like, oh, that's the guy who also did that Shakespeare role. Why is he lighting the school on fire? Alas. That's just the way it goes. I need to grab a piece of iron. And like so, like that. Perfect. Easy elo, easy life. I got an appointment in like an hour. I need to take a shower, so I'm gonna go. See you later, X-Men. Hope you have a great rest of your week, dude. I hope it is Big Pog. Oh, speaking of shadows, you know, might be looking at a third episode of that Let's Play coming out. If you guys are not caught up on the little Let's Play, I hope you're enjoying it. For those who have been watching, it's been a lot of fun to make. It's been great to revisit that game. So the first 2 episodes are out of that. Third on the way. Good streaming like always. Oh, you're too sweet. I'll try to tune in more often, perhaps. Hey, well, dude, I'm happy to have you anytime you want. I hope you have a great rest of your week, X-Men. Bye! Good luck on the 8 languages. I expect progress reports. Love the character designs in that game. Which, like, what else would I expect for Star? Oh man, it's such a fun game. It really is. It's such like an interesting and fun game. Like, and I really like kind of the approach. It feels very different from a lot of Star Wars because it's very, you know, adventurous in a way that's more like uncovering lost sea. Like, it's very Indiana Jones Star Wars, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's how it feels. Actually, yeah, we're gonna do that. And that. It's just, it really is though. It's just making more, more hype for like the upcoming sequel. That's good, like, cause that sequel's just around the corner. It comes out March 17th, I think. I've yet to watch it still. I do need to know anything about Star Wars before watching the Let's Play. Oh no, not at all. Not at all. Like, the most you would need to know is that Jedi exist. Like, Jedi exist. There's an Empire, stormtroopers. Like it's very open-ended. Like, it's really just a game that uses Star Wars as its setting rather than like a true need to, like, because all the stuff that's like lore based for Star Wars that's in that game is all new to that game. Like, nobody who was big Star Wars fan would have known any of that to begin with, if that makes sense. Like, it's all stuff that it's like, well, that's really interesting lore. That never existed prior to this game, so. And there's Easter eggs for those who have watched a lot of Star Wars, but it's nothing like notable to the plot in that way. You need to know that Jedi exist and the Empire exists, and is bad. Star Wars storytelling is very efficient. It's easy to pick up. Yeah, well, that was like from its beginning. Like the original Star Wars movie and everything like that was just the same. You know, like there wasn't. It was very show don't tell storytelling. There was no element to the original that was like, oh, by the way, you need to know all the. It just kind of threw it at you and decided, I'll figure it out. And later went back and decided what the answers to those things were. You know, like the first movie comes out and it mentions things like the Clone Wars and lightsabers and the Jedi and the Order of this and the and like never does any work to be like, oh, what are those things? It just says them and lets that stand as what it is. It's just like, yep. Which is a very interesting it's the same way that like Mark Hamill I think talked about this at one point. He plays Luke Skywalker, where he was like, yeah, I remember like back in the day where I basically went up to George and was like, George, don't you think we should be, you know, explain, like, because he watched the scene of Darth Vader's entrance in episode 4. He's like, don't you think you need to like explain, like, oh yeah, this is the evil guy and da. He's like, no, you know, he's in all black and he comes in and the music's gonna sound a little dark and you know, Leia's dressed in all white, and I think people will just get that's a villain. Comes in and starts choking fools. Like, yeah, totally. But that, like, that's the thing, is like, that was not just, like, it's because, part of understanding Star Wars at that time, yo, BNFC, thank you so much for the follow, dude. Part of understanding Star Wars, though, is like a storytelling thing and all these other reasons of like why it is the way it is because it's very Flash Gordon based. But the way that Flash Gordon was consumed, particularly by people like George Lucas because of the age that he was when Flash Gordon would have been consumed, was they were ran out of order just randomly in front of movies that you were going to see at the movie theater. So you and your friends often just kind of had to like, and they just started with scenarios just already in play with no way of knowing how the characters got there or what the story's been so far. And you and your friends just kind of were meant to make it up as you wanted. And just be like, how do you think Flash Gordon got into that problem? How do you think the evil wizard got that item? Do you think that was like, where's that from? What's this? What's that? Like, it's all very, it's very based in this idea of storytelling as a fluid object. Flash, savior of the universe. No, but totally, like it's, I don't know. It's this really interesting type of storytelling that I really admire. In a way of like, wow, it's very economic storytelling, if that makes sense. It doesn't waste time making you have to like know 1,000,003 things, and lets you like, and that's why I think where some actors, for instance, there's certain Marvel actors who don't share this type of thought, but people like Mark Hamill show up and go, yeah, if Luke Skywalker's gay to you, then he's gay, like, because you get to make up part of what's going on for this character. That's kind of how that works. Like, I don't know. Like, it's the same with like things like the sequels, where, you know, there's lots of Star Wars fans that have lots of problems with them. I have lots of problems with them. I'm well aware those are gonna get probably filled in with like a TV series like the prequels did and become beloved. Because that's the current generation of kids Star Wars. And Episode 7 was great. The characters are great. It's a great Rey's really cool. It was just poorly made. Like, that's the problem. Like, but in the same way the prequels have problems. I mean, I'd argue that the sequels have more problems than the prequels, but that's my personal take. But like, beyond that, like, it doesn't matter. Is that why you present things to us the way you do? Is that why I present things the way I do? Kind of, maybe. Actually, I'd never thought about it that way. Maybe that is why. I'm a big fan of the idea of, you know, people can fill in some of their own ideas of what happened or what's gone on. Like, for instance, in making that sort of like more movie-like lore, I had 3 to 5 like key where I was like, yeah, they might take this away from it, or they might take this away from it, or they might think this and they might wonder about that. And then even still, you guys came up with stuff that I'm not even saying is true or not. I'm just saying like stuff that I didn't even think about. And once again, as I've said before, lots of the lore is collaborative storytelling to me, because there's certainly been things that I've cannibalized from like what you guys have introduced to the subject. Like, I'm just like, yeah, that is cool. Yeah, sure, that's how it is. Just because I was like, yeah, you're right, that's sick. Because I think that's a fun way to do it, to like let you guys have a bit of a say. Like, I mean, obviously if there's something that I'm like, no, I want it to be more like this, then I'm gonna do it that way. But like, I still like the idea that who's to necessarily say that any of what has gone on in lore and all these other things, be sure they've been in front of you, is even happening in the current time. Everything with Napoleon the Seventh and this might be in the past of this world. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to say that I've been showing you the exact current events of this world. I'm not saying I have or haven't. I'm just saying, like even that's not something truly known, or time I like to play with a lot in this world. For instance, the break of Christmas, as I mentioned briefly at one point, but I'll reiterate more firmly now, 8 months went by in this world. You guys were gone for 8 months. You were out of my head. I mean, obviously it was only like a week, but like, you know what I mean? I just think that kind of stuff's cool. I love gaps. I love gaps because I think there's too much put onto the idea in today's world that you need to know every last detail of a world for it to be worth getting invested in. Where I think part of the fun is getting to have your own ideas and your own theories on things and your own interpretation. Like, I think it's very fulfilling in terms of story to allow your audience to have some say. Even if it's, like, this is obviously more push and pull of getting you guys to actually get a say in things. But I mean, even in the degree of, like, oh, yeah, your audience gets to, you know, have, like, they fill in, like, oh, like, prior to, like, prequel. And maybe later you go clear it up with what's canon or not. But, like, the idea of, like, yes, well, how should we interpret that? And how should we not interpret that? Like, how is death interpreted in this world? I've never actually expressed that, personally, because there's many different ways that it could. Like, I know what I personally do have in a document. What Illagers, Villagers, Witches, I worked out Ancient Civ, 3 different ancient civilizations, Piglins, and Napoleon. I've worked out all of those different groups' opinions on what death means and what it is and how it works and all these other things. Because I think that's interesting. I mean, that's just because there was a week or two, well, a month, where I was just really obsessed with the idea of death and cultures, different ideas of the occult and the like. I think that's a very interesting aspect. Oh my god. All right, here, 1 second. I'm going to turn up the gain. Oh, did you hear it? Did you hear my shoulder? That's so much. Well, because that's the thing. I love the idea of different cultures taking death differently, because they do in real life. We see that here. We see that in real life all the time. Some cultures fear death. Some cultures, most Anglo-Christian cultures see death as something to escape. You escape it into the idea of heaven, if you're good, supposedly, and all these other, like, and I'm not saying this is true or not. I'm not commenting on the validity or not of religion. I'm just saying that's the overarching view of a lot of the Western world, is, you know, good people go to a good place if they die, and that lets them escape the permanence of death. There is no permanence of death in that version, because, you know, you're escaping to get to live the rest of your life with all your loved ones forever in eternal joy. That's the idea. Supposedly. Then other cultures believe in ideas of rebirth. Which, you know, in a game that lets you respawn normally, that's an interesting idea. In games that have, does necromancy exist? Does it not exist? Does it? It sounds horrible. Oh my god. But, like, that's my point. Is, like, all those things of, like, yeah, you're escaping death is the very Western ideal. I agree, it's incredibly, yeah, it's so fascinating to me. Or, like, for instance, like, one of my favorite things that Matt Mercer did, and I have to give him credit for it, because even though I had read things similarly, my favorite thing that he harps on a lot in his D&D stuff for Critical Role and all these things is with their Goddess of Death, and he's made it very clear to his players, death is neutral. It sucks that death happens to people. Death is not fun for anybody. But it's neutral. Death doesn't have an opinion on if you're good or bad or what's gonna happen. Like, death is death, and it's very loved ones in this economy. No, but I love the idea of, like, a goddess of death just being neutral. Like, they're not trying to be vindictive about anything. They're just very neutral on the whole subject, and they have to be neutral because what is the good death? Or these other things. I don't know. It's the same way that, like, I'm in love with the idea of finding the voice of an author. And when I say that, I mean, predominantly most authors anywheres in the world have an emotion that guides their work, even if they don't themselves realize it. Often we don't. Often it's totally subconscious, and we don't know that we often write from a specific emotion set. A friend of mine was actually talking about this to me the other day. I think they were talking about the author, it's a poet named Mary, Olive Wilde, I think. I'm not familiar with her work, but anyway, apparently she writes from a place of relief, even if the word's never said. And when we talked about that, I was like, yeah, that's fair, because I personally like for instance, even children's authors, I think it's fair to say, like, what's his name? I'd say Rick Riordan from Percy Jackson. I'd say all of his works are guided by the emotion of heroic triumph, if that makes, like, triumph is the single word I think I could use, because no matter what is being done in his books and in his series, it's always got this triumphant air about it, even if it's very mundane. As an author, he seems to always seek to write about the triumph, be that the triumph of the human spirit, or the triumph of good over evil, or the idea of triumph of love, or all these. Whereas, and that's very much visible in his voice. Some authors I love always write from a place of longing. Like, everything they write is smattered. Even if it's discourse on, like, the most mundane of things, it's smattered in these ideas of love and longing. Like, every word they put somewhere, it has this feeling about it of nostalgic longing, even when it's not truly what the purpose of the project is, if that makes sense. But anyway, that's all very heavy. I'm sorry, I'm getting way too English student right now. Anyway, in 2006, I was a little kid and I said that she's a lady. Nap wouldn't know anything about that. He wasn't born yet? You don't know that. How dare you? RPG players do that a lot too. Oh, like, operate from, like, the same emotion? That's interesting. Oh, like, you think, like, everybody... I guess that's a question. Do you think you've ever been able to play an RPG? Like, let's say there's a game, like, you know how everybody always says, like, with Skyrim, they always fall back into playing sneak with a bow. You know what I mean? Like, that's the meme. I always end back up sneaking with a bow. Do you think it's possible at all for you to truly play a different character? I mean, or do you find it's possible for you to play your RPG differently? Well, you're just trying to have fun. Like, you're not trying to do a role or anything, but you're like, oh, I'm going to do an evil playthrough this time. But do you really find that you're able to commit to that, or do you always end up going back on it? There's no right answer. I'm just curious. I'm genuinely just, I don't know. Like, for me, I find it difficult. Like, there's times I've set out trying to, I've certainly set out trying to find one thing. Like, I have tried to play Red Dead Redemption Evil so many times, like, just to see the Arthur Lone Wolf style, yada yada yada. I can't do it. I just can't. I simply find it too difficult to break from the mold that I always, and I never do. I can never truly, even though it's this fantasy world where I know, like, what I'm doing is never gonna matter. It's not like I'm actually harming people. But I truly can't. I find it very difficult to break from the mold that I always put myself in. It's not like I have that difficulty with, like, acting. I've played a villain before. It's fun. It's great fun. But there's something about it with, like, an RPG that I find it difficult to break from. A tall woman with long black hair. I believe it. Stop voting for crescendo of your lecture back into. I just listen. I always feel like I'm gonna like I'm just going off the deep end, and I have a lot to say on these subjects, and then I often back down because I'm like, I probably should not be going so ham on it because it's heavy topics at times, and I know, like, I'm just playing a fun little block game. Most people aren't exactly showing up for I don't know, my ramblings on my thoughts on death. Like, that's heavy for a Monday night, I feel like, to be like, yeah, so, death, is it real? What happens? How does that happen? How does these beliefs change in different societies? What does that mean for a society? How we view death? Like, I don't know. I find these subjects incredibly interesting, but I don't know. I just do what I would do if I was more able. Yeah. For me, it's not about the bad thing so much as the way I do things. And I wanted to say, I play 100 save files doing nearly exactly the same. That's exactly why we show up what you mean. Okay, I mean, you know what? Fair. I don't chatters, I'll be real, I don't get that same response often necessarily, let's say, in life. So I just I am more used to needing to rein this kind of thing in. That's all. So I just do it often enough out of habit. That's, you know what? That's probably more information than I needed to share. Anyway, but yeah, like it's this, what was I saying earlier about? Oh yeah, societies and authors and the like. Oh, I'll get back onto it, I guess. The thing that's interesting to me, and I do try to mix it into this world because, I try to take this, like the hardcore world, I don't want to say seriously, like it is to a degree, like I write and work and try to like plan it in a serious manner. I also love to have fun with it, and I'm fine to have goofy moments, and I don't need it to, like, it's not Macbeth, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't need to be that, but I do find, I like to try to strike a balance where I know that elements of it could be viewed seriously, or taken at face value, or the drama of it that exists can be viewed and understood as having its own validity. I think that's so much more interesting, where you can where you can go into the subject knowing that you could either view whatever I'm putting out for the hardcore world as, you know, lighthearted little hello Darkstar, how do, as lighthearted little storytelling between us, or it could be a far more planned out, like, yes, I want this exact theme to be viewable and the like, if you want to get real English teachery about it kind of thing. And it was good, dude. Hope you're doing well. Hope all's been treating you well over the weekend and the like. You got to do whatever it was that you were looking to do this past weekend. Me personally, I ordered a pizza and devoured the whole thing. It was phenomenal. Thanks for the follow. I already had a bed. No. Oh my god. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. No, why would I put it behind it? But yeah, oh man, I normally make pizza, but this time I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna order a pizza, and you know what? It was delicious. And I ordered it by telling myself, you know, Nap, you know, you're gonna order this so that you don't have to make anything for the next couple days, and you could just have a couple pieces each night like a normal person, you know? I consumed the whole thing. Mind you, I guess I did go to the gym that day, and then like also just hadn't really eaten, so like I was just a hungry boy, but like still, I had plans for that food, and then my stomach decided otherwise. It was like, no, we eat now, actually. And I was like, okay. Oh my god. Bullying off stream too. You don't need to bully me. It is not a prereq that I am bullied on this stream. When did that become the prereq for joining the Bully in the 7 streams, huh? Oh my good gracious. Lord of Hats, thank you so much for the follow, dude. Welcome. How much can you curl? Like bar curl or like single hand bar, like dumbbell? Like single-handed, like with a dumbbell, or proper bar curl? The answer varies slightly. Dumbbell? Not terribly large amounts. I think my personal best is like 55, but that, like, I'm not near that personal best anymore. I mostly don't see, that's the thing for me. I'm not strength training like that. I would much rather deadlift. I don't really deadlift much at all, to be honest. I think I'm like at 180, 190 for deadlifts. Strength training isn't what I train personally. Like for me, it's not about, oh, I can curl a 50-pound dumbbell. It's, oh, I can curl a 25-pound dumbbell 100 times. You know what I mean? Like that's more important. It's more like, rather than like the extra large dumbbell, it's more about how many of a certain weight I can do rather than how big of a weight I can. Because I'm not personally into the big look. I'm not trying to be Dwayne The Rock Johnson, though I do definitely look like this man. I'm totally Dwayne. To keep some muscle. Yeah, I'm mostly like, I'm not really doing deadlift trainer or anything like that. Like, I'm not trying to be a strong man. I have friends who are. Like, I have a couple friends who, like, that's their whole thing, and I know they love it. I don't like chalk. I don't like chalk on my hands that much, I guess. But no, I'm far more. Oh, was there an accent redeem? Oh my god. All right, yeah, sure. We'll do a bit of a yeehaw accent for now. Good googly moogledy. But yeah, so like, yeah, it's more for me. I just do it for like health. I just work out for health rather than for like specific figure or like for a specific build. I'm far more onto a cardio grind at this point. But yeah, my personal, but I actually haven't deadlifted in a while. I don't even know. Maybe I can't do the 180, 190 anymore. But that was my personal best. But yeah, then you start working out for TwitchCon 2024. My God. See, here's the thing about the TwitchCon, because like I do still want to, like, I want to go at some point, but at the same time I'm also like, but do I? Not because of seeing y'all, more just because I'm like, I don't know how safe TwitchCon is. I'm not looking to get a spinal injury. Accent, can you do impressions too? Because you could do a good Bane impression. Oh my god. I mean, a Bane impression would be pretty simple. It's just like, you merely adopted the dark. Well, that's not even. Or perhaps he's wondering why you'd shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane. Like, it's just that. It's just cup your hands over your mouth. Like, that's Bane. You think the darkness is your ally? Like, that's Bane. Pretty Bane. If I like doing it enough, I just do it on my own. But, during my Southern accent. Yeah, well, hell. Rude. Well, you know, that's just the Southern way. I'm being too hospitable, you see. It's just a bit of that Southern hospitality. I'm just being too hospitable to the others around, you know? To the new folk. Y'all come back now, you hear? Yeah, get obliterated. Oh, nap 1, pink 0, let's go. Oh, the impressions are allowed. Yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, to an extent. If I can do it or think I can do it, I'll give it a try. But for the most part, I mostly just do kind of accents for it because, well, Southern accents not too difficult. I mean, none of them are necessarily good, and they're all attempts. They can turn out terrible. But yeah, starting like, yo, let me do something. Hope you're doing well. You just came in whilst I'm in the middle of a Southern accent challenge for the next 2 minutes. Because someone decided that'd be a good idea. Yeesh. Tonight, y'all come back. Oh my god. Can't be too mad at a youngin' like you said. Oh my god. I could be very old. You don't got any idea how old I am. I'm older than time itself. I'm older than time in memoriam. You got no sweet clue. I'm doing alright. Amazing accent. Well, I appreciate that. I don't know if amazing's the right word for it, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Oh my sweet Jesus. Well, yeah, no, I'm glad you're doing well, dude. I hope the weekend was kind to you. Hope all you needed to get done got done and the like. Actually, speaking of chatters, I don't think any of you even told me what you were up to this weekend. Sorry about that. It was rude of me to not ask. I feel like I didn't get any updates. Tisk. You know what I did this weekend, which was, you know, eat a pizza, go for a long walk, stare into the ocean. That's what I did. Like, stare into the eternal abyss. Avoid my responsibilities. But who needs to draft up papers, you know? Who needs to do any of that? Not me. Why would I do any of that? Ridiculous. It'd be silly. How is one to be older than time if time cannot be older than thyself? But if the eldest was elder than time, then thou hast to be old. Well, you see, the trick is, time might be a loop, and ergo, I'm from the time in time before time was time, but then the Big Bang occurred to reset time for yourself, but not for me. See how that works? I'm older than time, but only time is in the concept that humanity has put forward, rather than time as a true being. You savvy? I still got you with me? Oh, my sweet Jesus. Oh, also, I was just watching a lot of Vox Machina Unlimited this weekend. Or Legends of Vox Machina, I mean, sorry. Which, by the way, like, genuinely, what a great adaptation. Like, all things considered, like, such a good adaptation of what went on and the like. What I particularly enjoy is the fact that the changes that have occurred have all been quite natural. And also, what I would like to say, so a lot of people always complained, especially in the early days of Critical Role, like, oh, they're just scripting it and then recording themselves do it. And I was like, my brother in Christ, these are actors, directors, and producers of actual Hollywood fare. You think that they genuinely, like, if they were actually scripting it, it would be as rambunctious as it is? Because this show demonstrates what an actual scripted version of these events would be. Like, you think they were scripted that? My God, no, not in the slightest. They're just used to telling stories of that type, so it wasn't like the most out of left field for them to do so, you know? It's just so funny to me that people were like, it's scripted. I was like, do you not realize how chaotic what we have seen has been, and you think that's scripted? Hey, yo. So the time it died, well, you hadn't, so use my self-creator. Yeah, exactly. I just am the creator of all. It's true. Is purple a good color? I mean, purple's my favorite color, personally. Imperial purple and gold are my two favorite colors. I even got an axolotl that's in those colors that my friend got me. Sits right up there on my shelf. I pointed to him, none of you can see that, so that was pointless. A pointless point. But yeah, no, so I don't know. Purple's my favorite color, personally. I love purple. I keep popping my mic. Fellas. That's cute. Well, oh yeah, no, he's a pretty cute little axolotl. I don't actually know if I've ever even shown him off, now that I think about it. I feel like I haven't. There isn't, though. There isn't truly a monster nearby. You're lying. He's just stupid. It's not real. It's not really nearby. It's not really nearby. You don't... Why you gotta treat it like it's actually there? It's not. It's not really there, man. Come on, dude. You're harshing my vibes. It's not truly there. I am not adorable. How dare you? You're ruining my brand. My brand is to be the toxic of toxicity, the Grinch of Twitch. You're making me seem soft. I'm far from it. I am, in fact, just hard as nails. I am ruthless. Truthfully, you know, XQC, not even nearly as toxic as I am. Thy creator now to be thyself, so thyself could be thy creator, as thy had been, so thy could do while thy time hadn't used heard. My God, I'm getting wrapped in my own mythology. Oh my God, my TikTok's full of that because of you absolute gremlin. Unbelievable. Bop, bop. And like. Consider it a service to the age of... Oh my good gracious. Well, you know what, Pink? I'm gonna ruin something for you. No, I shouldn't. That'd be mean. Never mind. I'm not going to. I considered it and then it felt mean. And then it felt mean. I don't wish to anymore. Thy creator is thy toxicity. So thy could be thy toxic for thy couldn't, while thy could do, thy had to be thy toxic of thy toxic, while thy hadn't for thy couldn't, so thy could. Precisely. Yes, about me. What? No! Listen, that's just there from ages ago, man. I wrote that like years ago. That's just there, man. Alright? I'll take it out. Who even knows who wrote that, man? Because you know that I like spoil. Oh no, it's not actually a spoiler. Oh no, it's just there's a song that I know you like that I think I could ruin for you. That's all. I'm just aware that I could ruin a song you like. It's funny. I haven't looked at my about section in so long. I actually, what does it even say? I don't even know what I've written. What I've written down there. Written. Whatever. I don't even remember what it says at this point. It's probably not even like up to date or anything. It's probably just out of whack. Yeah, see, I kind of like this rise. I might change up a bit of how like this looks. I like that it's not a clean wall. It's maybe a little too much stone brick though, because I like that it's not a clean wall and builds into kind of the side as it comes down into this more like quote unquote below street that's going to be below the actual like high street and the like. I don't know. I feel it's an interesting little decline over there, and it adds some like continuity to the place. Feel free to be in chat. I want this to be nice to place people. Just back to the low res. Oh yeah, because of the low res image. Yeah, it's probably only funny to me. That's true. Seems up to date. Yeah, I suppose it's up to date. That is still what I want to keep doing. Reads a little cringe, but still. Oh well, I don't know if there really is a way to write about me without it being like a little weird to read back to yourself. You know what I mean? I don't know how to feel about the fact that you said it suits me when I just said it sounds cringe. Sounds cringe. Pink, it suits you. Oh, thanks, guys. I don't care. I am fine with that. I enjoy it. Life is cringe. I'm cringing it. Who cares? The most cringe about me is resume. Oh my god. Yo, Flex dude, what's up, man? How do? Thy wrote so thy could read, so thy know to know thy could learn from thy creator, because thy need knowledge for themselves or for thy himself. See, maybe I just am my own creator though. And if I'm my own creator, then could I not be what I am because I am what I am and I am me, you know? I am what I am, I'm me. Promotion pack and figure for work. Oh my god. You know, I pray every day for the death of the cover letter. I don't think that helps anyone. Do you think any agency has ever truly read your cover letter? Like, I mean genuine. Like, do you think that has ever been taken into consideration? That they've been like, well, the resume was just alright, but have you read their cover letter? My god, they really do beg to work for us. Maybe we should take them on. We could probably exploit this. Like, that's how it feels to me. I'm like, I don't know, man. It just feels very like exploitative. It doesn't feel like it's a good thing to provide. I got into a huge argument actually the other day. You know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna elaborate on that aspect of what happened. I got into a little tiff with some people the other day. I don't think certain people in my life knew my opinions on work and capitalism. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be awkward for you. Ooh, we should go get the clay. But no, I don't know. I think cover letters. I think cover letters are just kind of like weird. I just don't understand why I need to jump through like a million hoops just to even begin to be considered. Especially when it's probably automated that I'm gonna be considered anyway. Like, I get excited to follow up email because people will try to tell me they'll get back to me by a certain time, and then they don't, and I just don't have a word to explain to you how upset I get over people not doing what they're supposed to without communicating the change I can't handle. No, I mean, I understand. I just email them. I've had that happen. I had like the day go by where they were like, "I'll reach out to you by that time." I'm like, they didn't. And so I either like I just emailed them back. I'm like, "Hey, yo, hey, you said you were gonna, and then you didn't. What happened? What's up with that, huh? What, you think you're better than me?" I just start hitting them with it. I'm like, "What? You think you're better than me, huh? Is that what it is? What if the was it the Rick Morty Batman Bob's Burgers situation again? No, it was not that individual. It was a bit more familial. I do not know what language that is. But hello, welcome. I hope you're doing well. Put some of those in there. Gotta slap this stick down there. I mean, I do email them too, but it's often through like Nausea just. Oh well, I mean that sounds unfun. That lasts a little bit. That seems a little unpoggers. I'm not gonna lie. It seems a little just unfun to have happen. You know, all things considered. Seems like something I would not personally be like looking forward to, you know. I feel like I wouldn't be like, "God, gee willikers, can't wait," in such a scenario. Yo, Random, doing something? Just got back from basketball practice. Ayo, Pog, my legs are sore, but how are you? I'm doing good, man. What do you play, by the way? Are you like, what's your position? If you have one set. I mean, maybe you don't, but what position are you for basketball? I've been good, by the way. I've been very good. I'm gonna probably go to sleep now. Sure thing, baby. I hope you have a good sleep, dude. I hope it is Big Pog. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope all that you need to get done gets done, and beyond that, I hope it's just fun. Hope you have a wonderful night. Bye. Sleep is the most important meal of the day, after all. It's true. It's very true. Don't let anybody ever tell you it's not. Bah, 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 bah. The email so that I could promote thy feeling of thy learn thyself emotion because thy promised for thy to meet, but thy didn't do for thy email. And now thou shalt know my quarry with ye. I did not bring the bed. No! I hate it here. Did I have a bed here? Why? Oh my god. Stupid. But I do have string. My god, I'm good. Oh, I'm a genius. Thriller night. I have a fun anxiety management thing. I go, what's the worst, the best case, and the most likely scenario? I mean, that sounds that sounds helpful, right? I'm a sub, but I'm defender. If not being the sub, yo, Pog, dude. Man, that sounds like a lot of work out there. Like genuinely, I don't know. I feel like that would be like a lot of time practicing and stuff like that. Better, different in the worst case. That's usually better than the abstract bag thing. My brain looms over me. Then it helps to recognize the worst case isn't the most likely. Fair. Thy hast to leave, but thy will be back. For thy say goodbye for now. I'll see you later, Darkstar. I hope you have a wonderful evening, dude. Bye! If you ever look to come back, I stream every Monday and Friday at the same time, 4:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wowza! I just realized, yeah, this was probably gonna be getting close to being full. Oh my good gracious. Oh yeah, earlier when we were talking about the farming mods that some people are asking for Minecraft, yeah, I don't know. I feel like they were a little intense. But you know what? I'm never gonna be over, and okay, I understand. I bring up probably a little too often how annoying the Minecraft community makes me at times. But alas, you're gonna have to hear it. Because here's the thing: the sheer volume of people who with the sniffer are like, it looks like a mod, and like, my brother in Christ, I'm sorry, did you not just spend the last like year and a half yelling about how much better the modded version of Minecraft is than whatever Mojang puts out? Nope. Oh my god, a modder could have had this done, and so now guess what? You have a modded version. Why? What do you mean? Like, oh, the sniffer looks modded. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? I did do 3 sewer runs and it wasn't fun. It means I just run back. Oh yeah, no, I'm well familiar with those. They are woof. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. They want to complain. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's the same reason. Like this. I mean, for instance, like, and I think MJ actually did see this because I think I saw MJ's comment on the TikTok where I referenced that Mog Swamp. I was gonna say it in the Discord originally, but then I was like, I'll just make a TikTok. But I disagree with their ultimate take on it being like lore divergent. That, you know, because I think they just don't remember or realize that like netherite ingots, like full-on pre-made ingots, spawn in piglin bastions already. So it's not weird for piglins to have the like lore wise, it's not weird for piglins to be part of what would be making netherite armor to begin with. Like, just because they don't use it doesn't mean like yeah, sure, they don't use netherite, but that's not like a lore problem in the slightest. I personally just agree that, like, yeah, okay, maybe it'd be better to like not use diamonds purely for the replication, but you know, maybe it's the armor for kings, or maybe all the people who used to have that armor are dead and it's all lost. The bastions are all destroyed at this point. And it's rare that you would find an ingot left. And it's an ingot. And it's in their like treasure room. It's like, yeah, maybe it's just been centuries of destitution and destruction, and none of the bastions are even able to be kept in proper working order anymore. So, you know, I don't think they're too concerned about like making the most powerful of armors. Like, people lose technology. It's the same way that there was like in the Greek Dark Ages, which is different from what some people refer to as the Dark Ages, which is typically the medieval period, like how to make swords and bronze and stuff like that all fell to the wayside. Nobody remembered. It's just lost information. That happens. That's just a thing that happens. How odd. Well, because yeah, I saw it. That's the thing. That's why I referenced it. Now, I will never ever make a TikTok or any video or anything like that uses other people's information, even if it, like, maybe it's the, I don't know, maybe it's the university at this point badgering me enough, but no, referencing where I got thoughts and ideas, even if they're my own and it's slightly influenced by another person's work, I gotta give credit, man. I ain't getting caught out on plagiarism. I want no one to ever rock up and be like, hey, yo, you just took this from... I'm like, no. Because even, like, this is the thing. I even am not making the same point as that individual or like that creator. But the last thing I want is for people to be like, hey, wait a minute. This guy's taken from him. It's not fair. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want that. I know you tease. I'm just people talking at this point. Like, The Damascus Steel, yeah, or things like Damascus Steel. I mean, that's a different realm of lost knowledge, but yeah, similar idea, basically. I was more talking about like Bronze Age stuff and the like, but yeah. Shadows, total side note. I might in the next little bit, someday, randomly hit you with I might just start randomly hitting you guys with some games occasionally. I don't know if I will or won't. I might do them more as YouTube things. I haven't really decided, but I've decided I do want to branch out, not branch out or away from Minecraft. I don't want to make it seem like that. But I like the idea of randomly hitting you with some games. Where like normally I'll let you know in advance of a stream if I'm gonna be doing something different. But I think I'm gonna randomly hit you one day with just the most outlandish of things. And that sounds hilarious to me. Hitting with games. I mean, just you'll show up. And they'll just be like, there won't have been any previous discussion on like the fact that I'll be playing something other than Minecraft. It'll just be me booting up this random game that probably many of you won't have even heard of. I'll just be like, yeah. Especially if it's one like, because there's a few games that like I really love that like I've never streamed. Like they're games that I just personally enjoy. And some of that I won't do because it's a little too intense. Like it's an intensive game. Like the Total War Warhammer, I ended up never doing because it's just too intense. I think not in terms of content, in terms of like what it takes for my PC to run that. My PC can. It's just that it can't. I don't think also stream it, if that makes sense. So I'm like, It's also like it's just it's not super well optimized for that kind of a thing. Excuse me. Excuse. Oh. Why is this not working? What happened? What broke? What happened? What happened? I'll just clear the field. Sure, that worked. Rolls up with Harvest Moon. I've never played Harvest Moon. My first thought with that hitting chat was just extra large Jenga blocks. Look at that happy couple in a oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna literally just hit you with it. I would like to return these to whence they came. I guess not. Nope, that's full. Can I put these back? I don't know if I already told this about the idea, but we had a different iron golems for each biome. But if I did, should I write it all down? Yeah. No, I think we briefly, I think you had briefly spoken about it, but it's always an interesting thing to like hear what people think. Like I think your idea was, yeah, like each biome or they could rust out or the others. I think that was your idea, if I'm remembering correctly. Which is a very interesting concept to like put forward for like iron golems. It really changes kind of their idea. I mean, I kind of want just more golems in general. I mean, Mojang obviously also wants more golems in general. Evident by, you know, the fact that they're just like, please, I am begging you. I just want to put more golems into the game, guys. And I'm like, but the glare. But the sniffer. You know? To be fair, the copper golem was way and away far superior to the stone golem. The stone golem was really meh compared to the copper golem. I'm just saying. Draw your little guy as a Harvest Moon Roof Factory character. SMH Pink. It sounds like there's a lot of things that you said you're gonna draw. I'm joking. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. I don't know, Pink. Sounds like you promised a lot of things to be drawn. I have a voice. Oh my god. Nap gotta go. Adios. Have a great rest of the stream. That's all from Dragon, folks. Oh my god. See you later, Dragoncorn. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, dude. I hope it is Big Pog, and I cannot wait to hear how it goes. Bye. Have a great night. Sleep well. I assume you're going to sleep. Sleep is important. Desert is where they would rust. Right, the desert was where they would rust. How do those seeds keep ending up in your inventory again? They're just kicking around, you know? I just find myself in all these seedy places. If you can't tell, I just IRL pogged. IRL just went, oh. Clowned up for how much I like Hardcore Will. Boo! Oh my god. You deserved that fall damage. Ah! Oh my god. Why? Why are you guys so mean? Oh my god. That's gonna keep cooking for a little bit, so that's gonna not take too long, I don't think. Want to play Factorio's Satisfactory style Minecraft mod pack with Create, where you have to make factories and automate production, but there are none with quest books, and I'm pretty aimless early game. Oh my gosh. I've never actually played Factorio. I've heard good things, don't get me wrong. Like I've heard good things. I see a lot of people like it. I've never actually, I don't know. I have no idea what that game's even about. I still have the Stardew world. I don't know if we'll ever go back to Stardew. Just because, I mean, maybe we will someday. I don't know. It's just very, like... There's a lot of different games. Maybe just wait and see till what happens in February. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, you know? Oh my god, speaking of, it's February on Wednesday. That's wild. That genuinely boggles my mind that it is literally February in a day. First, I cannot do Stardew. Yeah, it's not really my thing. Personally, I don't think. Romance Harvey, I think you'd like it. I like that you go for Harvey instead of, you know, any of the women who are in that game. Why would I choose Harvey? There are women. Farmville, doesn't Farmville still exist? Isn't it like Farmville 4 now? I thought Harvey was the doctor. Is Harvey a butcher? Harvey likes radios? What does that mean? What in God's name does that mean? What do you mean Harvey likes radios? That's so menacing. Oh, beans, February is nearly here. I know, right? It's literally Wednesday is February 1st. It's wild. It's blowing my mind collectively. My hope in February, actually, is there's been a video I've been working, like a longer form video I've been really working away at. Like it's more of a labor of love. It's like an absolute, like, it's more in line with the sound design video, but it's not about Minecraft. And I've been working away on that one. I'm really hopeful for that video. I don't know. Not that like it needs to perform exceedingly well or anything. Like you know, things will perform as they perform. I'm not really super concerned about that stuff. But I mean, it'd be lovely if it performed like well, you know, or it'd be awesome if something matched up to like the amount of effort you put into it, kind of thing. But I just personally enjoy the creative side of it more. I think like that's what I'm really getting like my vibe from for it is I'm just really down to like do this kind of like creative video. It's the video that's gonna go viral, aren't they all? Aren't they all? But no, I mean that's the thing. Like, well, I mean, like in the same way that I think personally, I think the sound design also could have. Like, I think if the sound design video hit people in the right way, it probably could have done a lot better than it did. Which isn't a negative. Like, that's not a bad thing necessarily. I'm not saying it's like awful that it didn't do well. I'm just saying like I think it's the type of video that maybe if I had a better thumbnail or maybe like cared a bit more about like the title or whatever, because that stuff's meant to matter. But I really can't be bothered. It's not can't be bothered. That's not true. It kills my creative drive when that's the focus of what I'm trying to do. Where I'm like, ugh, really? Okay, sure. I mean, good for Jimmy Beast. Don't get me wrong. Like, good for that guy. Good for lots of YouTubers. Lots of YouTubers like know how important that is. That can make or break a video. I just, ugh, like I don't know. It hurts. Is all. It's a video that's gonna go viral. I'm gonna be known that I have to ditch Minecraft. I don't think I'd ever ditch Minecraft. But no, I'm not gonna say what it is, but I have actually mentioned what it is on stream before. So I am interested to see where it goes. All the historical costumers I watch who have to call everything a corset. Oh my god. When it's not. Oh my good god. They literally, oh, you mean like for like thumbnails stuff like that? They're like, they wore what corset or whatever? Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know. It's the same way that like there's times where I've clearly titled YouTube videos relatively clickbaity. You know what I mean? Like doing that like thumbnail, like that's the thing, even for the Monopoly video, I was like, yeah, that's probably a decent thumbnail and that's probably a decent title of like I locked up my friends or whatever. Like, you know, that's very YouTubey. Like, so you know, but yeah, who knows where it'll go. It's definitely something that I could see doing halfway decent, I guess is what I should say. But I'm also really interested at the fact that like none of my video, I have one video, like the most views I think one of my YouTube videos ever did was 9,000 views. I think one of them has 9,000 views collectively, which is, you know, whatever. But what's interesting to me is that I really do feel that like it's very interesting that I don't feel like I have put my best foot forward with YouTube, particularly until recently where I've started uploading more. And yet I am at like 900 and something, I think only like 910 subscribers. Like I'm technically pretty close to 1,000 subs for having relatively not done much. Not that that's like a lot. Like I understand it's probably pretty easy to get 1,000 subs, I guess. I don't know. But like I'm like, wow, this seems cool. Like it's cool that like it's just kind of like there. I'm like, oh. I don't think I ever heard said YouTubey out loud. Yeah, I know, right? It sounds a little YouTubey dooby doo. Where are you? We got some work to do now. Come on, YouTube. I need you. I need some help for you now. Don't look back. Something Scooby snack. That's a fact. Oh my god. Little pigs. Yeah. Oh man, sorry. I could tell my like I could feel like that my vocal cords have certainly like taken a hit, and I'm like, ooh, I should probably tone myself down a little bit. I get worried at times because I'm always like, ooh, I hope I don't obliterate these for all time, because I feel like I don't worry as much as maybe I should about it sometimes. Well, it happens. Like, What's the worst that could happen? I lose the ability to speak? Maybe. But like, you know. How likely is that? Not very. Not very. Develop a vocal node? Maybe. That'll just be like Julie Andrews, who was Mary Poppins, for those that don't know. Among other things, that's what came to mind. I guess she's also the Sound of Music lady, like that's another thing. Or she was in that, oh man, I forget what it's called. I had an older cousin who loved that movie. I think Anne Hathaway's in it. Yes. It's, Marriage Princess? Princess something? I think Anne Hathaway plays a princess in it, and Stan Lee's in it as well. Princess Diaries, that's what it's called. Yeah. No, not Princess Bride. I know Princess Bride, that's easy. Princess Bride, fair. I'm an idiot. I didn't even bring the little stone cutter that I need. Oh, because there's one over here. I'm not an idiot. We've been way too out of touch. All you gotta do is you come here, me. Ah! Sincerely me. The only contribution I've ever had to streams is making Nap use the stone cutter. I mean, in fairness, yes, but also shh, quiet, shush, shush. How dare you? How dare you insult me so? Hello, King. How do? Random question. You're not perchance named after somebody to do with Owl House, are you? Probably not, but I wish to know either way. What a show, by the way. Yo, thank you so much for the follow, man. I appreciate that. And then we move that there, and then we're gonna bring this up one more here. Speaking of, how does that go over there? No, yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, like, it was a long shot. I was just curious. Can you fight the warden? Nope. I don't even know where one is, man. I got no clue where I'd even find one. Mainly because this is a hardcore world where the way that I do, yeah, well, there's the little prompt right there. But yeah, the way that I do it is more or less story based, and so I haven't really discovered anything that would point me in the direction of that per se yet. Just whispers and rumors. And then I guess it just goes straight up for a little bit. For 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just goes up 4. Why are you misspelling the word hardcore, Edward? That's weird. That's weird. Why are you misspelling it? It's right there in front of you, spelled totally normally. I don't know why you feel that you would need to misspell it. L plus ratio. L plus ratio. Multiplier. Alright, bug, seek. And It's in the quote, Nap. Funny how you missed it. I don't see the word hardcore anymore. I don't see the word hardcore misspelled in that quote. Do you? Might want to get your eyes checked, my friend. You might want to get your eyes checked. I see no misspelling. Well, what are you quoting then, my friend? What are you quoting? It's a weird way to write a quote. Karma? I don't know the meaning of the word. I actually don't. I don't exactly know what karma literally means now that I think about it. I mean, like I get the idea. It's meant to be like you get what you got coming to you or whatever, I guess. But like, is that the true literal meaning of karma, or is that like just what we've generally understood it to mean, and it's actually something else? Who's to say? Who's to say? Nap has had issues with quotes this stream. I have issues every stream. How dare you? Let's see. This goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it goes there. So it's 4, 5. Right, that's 5. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, and then 6. So true, King. Exactly. Me finding out Corp's husband wears an eye patch for migraines. What? What does that have to do with anything? Why are you bringing that guy into this? I mean, me. Why are you bringing me into this? I hope I don't have to hope at all. I was gonna say I hope I never have to interact with that individual, because that's a very weird quote to just randomly have. But then I realized I won't. I was like, I don't have to hope anything. Oh my god. And next Nap crossover is, oh my god. But also, it's because I don't, ocular migraines, which eye patches, imagine having the biggest and smallest ego at the same time. That's how it, what do you mean? What do you mean? I only have the biggest ego. I am ego. Call me Ego Mortensen. Yeah. Yeah. It's like Viggo Mortensen. Shush. Shush. Shush your face. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, sick. That's where it needs to be. Bada bing, bada boom. Bop, 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 bop. Bop, 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 bop. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong because this needs to be. No, I swear to God. There we go. Whoop. 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 You are ego. Freud would like to talk. Freud can spin in his grave, of course, is what I meant. Nothing else. Nothing else. Not that hack job. Yeah, exactly. Freud can absolutely catch these freaking hands, man. My god. Imagine basing anything on Freud. Imagine listening to that absolute milquetoast man for even a second. Like, okay, Freud, we get it. You have weird fantasies. That doesn't mean everybody does, dude. Good lord. Like, just because you're a freak, like And I don't mean that in a king shame way. I just mean Freud is a freak. That's like just him personally, not for any of his proclivities. Just him. Just him. He just is a freak. I think that's valid. I think that's a fair statement. Man's just an absolute wacko. Absolute whack job. Was so important. Well, listen, I don't want anybody to feel bad about anything. I just dislike Freud a lot, that's all. I don't really tend to judge anybody on anything, man. Other than Pink and Pedro Pascal, because that man is like quadruple your age, dude. That is... I'm just saying. Gotta get that shot in there. Gotta get that last haymaker in. He's not even W. He probably is. You and Edward are like what, 24? 20? No, you're like 23 or 24, right? Yeah, you guys are like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So like, you said he's 47, so that'd be like 46 is double. Yeah, that's what I said. So yeah, 46 would be double. I think it's related to before I said feel shamed. Oh my god. Huh. He's very close to double your age then. Happy? He's very close. Can you remember anyone's actual age? Oh man. Maybe I was just trying to pay him a compliment. Maybe I was just trying to see if Pink would accept the would just be like, oh yeah, I am. I don't know. They're always called old in this chat. I don't want them to always feel old, Namely because they're not. You're not. Like, if we're being genuine/gen, you're not. Old doesn't truly start till 60. I mean, 50 something's like getting there, but like, no, genuinely, like that's not even a thing. Like, just your middle age ends at 60. Middle age is 40 to 60 by stats, like statistically speaking. And that is what is deemed middle age. So you're not. Which is why I am old, because I am 58. Was double A? Oh no, what a shame. Oh my god. And I mean, MJ, you're like I'm gonna guess, I feel like you were 19 is what you said. And now the hardcore's gone on for a year and a half. So probably 20 pushing 21? 20? Oh, okay. Well then, I'm not far off then. It's not terrible. Am I wrong? Is that incorrect? Because I never mentioned it, but I'm curious what Nap thinks. 5. Obliterated. Simply eviscerated. 10 years of it. Okay, well then I was kind of right still. Kind of. I just added math because I was like, I think the hardcore world, so he's very wrong. Is it though? State of mind. 19 pushing 20. Man. 5 years old are better than. Oh my god. Probably like, I think the medium age, like I know the stats for the medium age of my chat. The medium age is 15. Like that's it, like of followers. Which is older than my TikTok following. Which has a weird skew where it's like almost no one in their 25 to 35, but there's a good chunk in their 40s, and then there's and the rest is all 15 to 25. 12 to 25, I mean, sorry. You gotta hey, you gotta realize the medium age of my followers is based on nearly 2,000 people, not the actual people who show up. I have 1,900 followers, like that is what draws the average age of the accounts that follow me. That's different from the average group that's in chat or is active. These are very different things, chatters. But yeah, and then on TikTok, it's people are either typically in their 40s or they're somewhere between 12 and 20. I'm thinking just plain glass, but I also kind of want to do tinted. I don't know. Both seem relevant, you know? Both seem worthwhile to some degree or another. And we'll do that. No, let's take that, and then like that. Oh my god, I need to go. I think I have the stone back at the house. Oh god. Nothing is ever just where I need it to be. Oh. Truth be told, Twitch accounts told the truth. Twitch accounts, especially the 40. Oh no, the 40 stuff is from TikTok, not from Twitch. And yeah, truth is a whole nother thing. I don't doubt it based on some of the like accounts that I see, but that's neither here nor there. Dyed glass. See, I consider that, but like blue is the only one I think would really fit in a good clash versus all the red of the brick. But I don't know. Dyed Traveler's back. Yo, welcome back, Dexter. I think frosted glass, white or light gray would be cool, especially by the seaside. Yeah, that could work. Because the tinted stuff is just gonna make it dark inside is the thing. Like tinted is what I used as the like that on top of that roof is tinted, which means no light pierces through. Like here, one second, let me go back. Just go on the internet and tell. No, it's not that I'm saying people wouldn't do that. I'm just saying it's like enough where it's like, well, you know, like I mean accounts that have posted like videos of themselves. Like it's like easier to tell that way. So like that's like tinted glass above, which I think gives it a nice kind of look for the most part, but I don't know. And then that's what blue with it looks like, which is what I used here. But I don't know. Plain glass seems a little ick, you know. It just seems a little. I just came by to say hi, but because I'm gonna go watch a movie the Feb. See you later, Doctor. Hope you have a good rest of your night, dude. Oh man, have any of you ever read, I know we were talking about the Titanic like literally 2 hours ago, but have any of you ever read like the journals of various people who like were in the first class? Like it's so first class, and that's not necessarily a compliment. In matter of fact, it's really a detriment. Like it, like oh my god, like the ones who survive, I mean, like where we have their diaries and whatnot. But also it's so macabre's not the right word, but like, so this is like interesting element to like diaries of people who survived in first class, and they're just like speaking about when they awoke in the night. because they didn't know anything was going to happen. Obviously, like they had no idea they were speeding towards being the Titanic. Like the event, obviously, there was no way for anybody to know. And so, like, in the middle of the night, there was the big noise of them hitting the iceberg, and then, like, a number of people woke up and came out into the... There's actually, in the Broadway musical about it, which I didn't even realize there was a Broadway musical, like, for the Titanic. There's a song called Pajamas, I think, or something like that. And that song is about this moment where all these members of the upper class and whatnot are out in the hallway, kind of like trying to figure out what's going on and all these other things, and they're just kind of like, yes. And it's noted from diary entries that a number of these individuals even were like joking, as you would, and I guess that's what makes it so dark, is that you can see yourself having done that, or at least I could, I guess, because they're friends, like they're all kind of relative friends, or like have rushed shoulders with each other for the last several days on the ocean. And they're joking and pointing fun at each other, with different members of the men being like, "Oh no, are you prepared to swim in that?" Like, because they're pointing out like, "Oh, you're wearing like pajamas or whatever." Like, "I hope you're ready to swim." None of them actually think anything bad's truly gonna happen. It's in that state of emergency where, like, you've probably been somewhere where an emergency has occurred, or like a fire drill, or even maybe a small fire broke out somewhere as you were, no one that could be contained, and people tell these jokes, or like, oh, the elevator's not working for whatever, or like something like that, like you're stuck in a, like, and people crack jokes to kind of lighten the mood, and they don't always realize what's coming for them, and it's got this real darkness to it about it, like that element. To me, I think that lack of knowledge of the tragedy to come is always, to me, one of the darkest elements that can occur in narratives. Which I'm not trying to like make this sound like it's all showmanship or whatever. I just purely mean that I really do feel that like it's an amazingly dark element to explore in a work. The idea of, oh yeah, I hope you're ready to swim in that. Oh, because you can see that as a joke that would be made. I at least think so. I could see that joke being made. I could see that joke being made by tons of different people. Gallows humor is one heck of a punchline. Yeah, but that's the thing, is like, they didn't realize it was gallows humor. Like, there's gallows humor that's like, you kind of know it is, but like, they really didn't think anything was truly wrong in those early hours. And then even still, like, oh my god, there's one account of one of the people who survived, which later was called the Money Boat, which is about, I forget the names of the people who were on it, but like Cosmo's one of them. But anyway, these people and it's four really rich passengers and then 7 crewmates who took a lifeboat that wasn't being guarded early on and took it together. Could have held 40 people. And instead it was those 7 crew members, and then so 12 people total. Basically, or like 11, sorry, yeah, 11. Total. On a boat that could have held 40. And it's like this known thing that like they even like sort of joked in this kind of gallows humor. Like, I don't think they truly understood what they were saying, but like in front of these crew members, they were like, oh geez, well, there go, because one of them, they brought their secretary with them who like escaped with them, but then with Cosmo and his wife, and their secretary came with them, and then what they'd said was oh gee, well, there goes your new nightgown or whatever. And then one of the crew members sort of chided them on it, like, yeah, good enough for you guys. You guys can afford new stuff. Like, what about the rest of us? And the Cosmo guy's like, well, when we're to shore, I'll give you each $5 to get a new kit. You'll get another boat. He said you'll get another boat. Oh my god, it's just so weirdly dark and macabre. In this element where it's still like, they're obviously still probably somewhat in shock in this moment. You want to hope that there's that human element to it, like they don't realize how few $5 whole dollars in 1912. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like it is still not much, but it is also like, it's a lot more than nothing. It's I don't know, it's a crisp $100 bill, I guess, while 2,000 people die around you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, it is a good amount to be offering. Like, for instance, I'll put it this way. a lot of people don't realize there was levels to the first class tickets you could buy. More so than even the second and third class. Like the first class tickets, there was some that was $300, and the like really, really ritzy ones were $896, which equivalent today is over $100,000 in today's money. That's how much these rooms were. But again, back in this time period, that's because some first class seats were, like, you know, the kind of couple $1,000 first class seats that you'd get on a plane, like a United Emirates plane. And then the $100,000 ones are equivalent to the person who would have just, you know, had their own private jet today. But that kind of thing wasn't common then. Everybody kind of took the same liners. So there was, you know, noblemen and stuff like that riding, and same with like the Macy's, and same with all these other people and all these other folks, and yada 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 yada. But I don't know. It's this really interesting element, and it fascinates me how much Titanic takes up the minds of people to this day, so much time later. I mean, myself included, obviously, but like, I don't know, it's interesting in that way, as this tragedy that we have like so well documented, like minute to minute. I guess also because it went down over such a long period of time versus other tragedies, which are relatively instant, or within a couple hours it's all wrapped up, like the tragedy has completed. Meanwhile, the sinking of this ship was hours of time. So I think it's interesting in that regard. But I don't know. Why? Also, like, it's good to note that things were heavily separated then as well. Oh yeah, absolutely. It was a fact that, wasn't the fact the crew would lock the gates up. It was the fact that they were locked up the entire time. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like it wasn't just like, oh, we're flooding, let's lock these people down below. No, it was just, it's always been locked. There's always going to be this separation. I mean, it was even separated to like where, most of what these people were doing on the ship itself was actually just eating. Like 11 meals a day kind of thing occurred. Like you had, like second breakfast was a literal thing that occurred. But also even separation in terms of gender, like of the day kind of thing, of you know, like where, like there was a smoking room, but like the men would go there kind of thing, or the pool. It was the pool that was on board was allowed to be used by women in the morning and men in the evening, of like first class. But also like of that like $100,000 equivalent room experience, that suite like had its own effective promenade to go walk on if you wanted, like a small section of deck. And I say small, but like decent size when you consider like, yeah, you're on a ship and space is limited. You know what I mean? Like. Anyway, these things fascinate me. What fascinates me more about the Titanic, though, than its tragedy is far more, or as of late, I should say, is far more the examination into the very mundane day-to-day aspects of the Titanic and what it was. I feel like that's a level of history that's not focused on because of the tragedy, but it's such a treasure trove for learning historical elements like that. And I also I know it's macabre, I know it's dark, but I really want to try to work that into something like, okay, listen. So you know how, have you ever heard of the game Call of Cthulhu? It's kind of like D&D, but it's set in like a sort of in Lovecraftian Cthulhu kind of thing. And I really like the idea. I really so basically it's like D&D, but it's set in this kind of like pulp fiction 1910s to 20s kind of like RPG kind of thing that you play tabletop, because you've talked about it. Okay, well, perfect. I'm glad. Weirdly enough, I think Edward, you'd really like it a lot. Maybe not so much for the horror elements of it, which are like the really weird like Lovecraftian horror and like eldritch horrors and stuff like that, and you slowly go mad. That's how damage works in it, is your sanity goes down and you'll lose your mind. But it's like it leans so deeply, Loki means a lot. Well, yeah, it leans deeply into either, if you set it in the UK, into the Victorian Edwardian period. Like the way that me and my friends have always played it is, if we set, like wherever we're setting it, we dress for that, because again, one of my friends is a costume, that's their degree, is they're doing costuming, so we just raid the department because they have a key because their prof trusts them. So, or we host it there kind of thing. Because it's just fun. It's fun. It's kind of like doing like one of those murder mystery nights kind of thing. I think it's really interesting. But anyway, I think it would be really interesting to try to do something like that, but then have like the mission that they're assigned to do, like, oh, you gotta go meet up with these people. They're gonna get you on a ship that's gonna get you to America, and just make it vague, make it very vague. Very vague that there's gonna be somebody on that ship for to find, but make it so that somebody else will get them to the ship, so they don't have to worry about what the name is, and they don't have to know, and just pray they don't ask. And slowly, once they're on it, drop little hints of how excited people are to watch this ship leave, of how oh gee whiz, like, and who knows if they'll remember what year it is, kind of thing, and slowly but surely reveal that, like, oh yes, the different classes on the ship, it's all super ordered, and have occasionally people just be like, drop the line of like, this was such an amazing ship to build, the maiden voyage, unsinkable, and slowly reveal to them that they are on the Titanic. Because I think that's kind of neat. I think that would be a cool... Listen, there's not a lot that you can do to truly surprise, like, players who've played a game for so long. I think that's so neat. You're slowly... And because you got to make it be a mission that they're meeting somebody, and they're going to be, like, they got to find someone on this. Firstly, ask what port you were getting on. Yeah, no, exactly, like the little things, just trying to make it, and have it, you gotta make it so they're meeting someone who's gonna sneak them aboard this ship, or they're gonna be put into a crate to be brought onto the ship, and make it seem like the ship's not important what it is, because to most people it wouldn't be. There's gonna be a Duke or whatever that you gotta find on board, and make sure that back to the topic, accents. Amazing. I don't think I've ever heard someone pronounce vague like that. What do you mean? Never heard someone say vague? What do you mean? I'd personally ask, no, like, what port you're gonna... Yeah. No, but, like, the little things, like, just, or, like, oh, well, you know, I guess, like, the Irish certainly know how to make a ship, like, or whatever it is, kind of thing. The press seems really impressed with this. I paid this much money for this ticket or the maiden voyage, and then drop, like, names of some people. Like, I'd have to look into it a bit more to figure out exactly what needs to be dropped and not dropped, or the, like... note how many lifeboats there are, because it's such a rarity to have this many lifeboats on a ship, because it kind of was. It wasn't standard at all, and the fact that Titanic actually had quite a few lifeboats for its time, just not enough. 3 ports before departing for the voyage. I should mention. Oh, I did not realize that. I did not know that. That's interesting then, but like all the like different things. I just think it'd be interesting to like slowly make like, because they will know as the player, like slowly as they I think I'd culminate it at like a dinner sequence where they're like they're on board. I'll be like, oh, you've been sailing for a week or so, kind of thing. Like days will go by kind of quick, and I'll say like, what you've been carousing, kind of thing, the last couple days. You've been meandering around, meeting some people, and then at a final dinner. Or maybe, dinner's probably good because that only leaves a few hours, and not really enough time for them to decide we're gonna leave, or figure out a way off. You know what I mean? I just think that, I don't know, there's something about that feels like it would be very neat as a really gut punch reveal for them to realize as they talk to the person who's like, did you ever think you'd be on such a lovely... Like, did you ever think that a marvel of technology like this could exist? My, oh my... Those whatever brothers knew what they were doing when they built this ship, I'm sure. And what a beautiful name, too. It really evokes the power of it. Titanic. Like, I'm sorry, the what ship? We're on what? Like, I see that as being a real good pull, you know? Maybe it wouldn't work. Maybe it wouldn't land quite right. But I feel like that's an easy way to cash in on some quick panic from your players, where they'd be like, I'm sorry, the what? Oh no, we gotta get off. What day is it? Oh, you know, 26th of April. I think it was the 26th, wasn't it? Did Titanic sink? 14th of April, my mistake. 14th of April. I think you have to avoid saying unsinkable. See, I can say it once they're on the ship, I think. And like a couple days have gone by, and they'll overhear it if they choose to listen into conversations. I think unsinkable will be a big tell, though. That would, like, it's either going to be at that dinner or by the time they hear the word unsinkable, where they eventually go, hey, Nap, what's the name of the ship we're on? You can go look. Sure. And they go look over the edge. And then, sure enough, they see it. They see it scrawled right across. I think, was it the HMS Titanic or RMS? What was it officially called? I think it was RMS. Yeah, it was. Yeah, just, oh, you see there, RMS. What does that mean? Actually, now that I think about it, Royal something, probably. Royal Majesty's Steamliner? Royal Mail Ship, that's what it is. Because I know HMS is like His Majesty's ship. No, that makes no sense. I think that's what their navy's called or whatever. Really might sink. Oh my god. Too soon, Pink. I mean, I know it's been 100 years, but too soon. Illustrator for an assignment, uninstalled it for disk space within 4 hours. Oh my god. No, but like genuinely, I do think also that's really coming along. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with how that's. I'm just sorry. The reason I've been hemming and hawing now is because I'm like, do I want to do this backside the same as I have that front side? You know what I mean? I don't think so. I think the overhang makes sense for the side that faces the docks, but on this side, which I'm gonna need to do some pathing, I think. This will be a roadway. Like probably a 5, maybe even a 7 roadway, like a big roadway, because this is gonna be, you know, just before you hit the docks. I really do wonder if maybe I should be like, I've hemmed and hawed about just laying out a roadmap for all the roads, but I feel like I would like building the roads after I feel like it's more fun to have build the roads into whatever structures I make, because I feel like that gives it a more natural feel rather than the planned out feel that, like, you know, a more modern city would have. My friend to beg to play GTA tomorrow once I uninstall it. Oh, isn't that like a 90 or isn't that like 120 gigabytes or something like that? Like, isn't it nuts? Isn't it genuinely like an insane amount of storage for one game? Build carriages on the road. I mean, maybe. Mayhaps. Tie some horses to them. Tie some horses and trap a villager on it, but like in like a little overhang, so it just looks like he's riding. Always forever frozen in time. I'm a mess. Was your special interest as a kid the Titanic? Is that what you're saying? But for your Titanic Call of Cthulhu thing, is Eldritch stuff happening on the Titanic, or is that a sort of side quest? I'm not sure, because I don't know if it's in. I think the Titanic's a perfect place to head, like, because what an interesting Elseworld story of like, oh, maybe how did they accidentally hit an iceberg? Why could they not get a call out that night? Like, we know roughly, we're pretty sure we know why. You know, one of the main reasons they couldn't get a call out, they were jerks. They were jerks to the only ship nearby on the radio earlier that night, and so that other ship turned off its radio. That's like a bit, but like I feel like a surprise reveal Titanic call. That's good. See, I like that too. I like the idea that it's a surprise that it's the Titanic. I was building heavily just knowing about. Oh, I'm sorry, you did mention that earlier. I totally, when I originally talked about it, you did mention that, and then I was confused because I wasn't sure how you get bullied for that. Like not as like a you thing. I just mean who's out here like, oh my god, look, get a load of this guy. He cares about the Titanic. I don't know, like it just seems like such a what loser bullies somebody on that? What fools? The stream has come full circle. I know, right? But no, seriously, like I do wonder. One, is it in poor taste to make the Titanic a Call of Cthulhu event? Is that bad? Is that in poor taste? Because that's the thing is like, especially let's say if one of the players has been going mad more or has more of a connection to the actual Eldritch Being. Eldritch Being at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean is not a bad idea. Big octo face, you know what I mean? Like, and I think, you know, it explains like, oh, how'd they not see the iceberg? How'd these things happen? I mean, because yeah, obviously the reason we know why it actually was able to, like, the reason that an iceberg did damage it in the way that it did was because, if I'm remembering correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's that the type of metal that was used should have actually been able to withstand that, but in non-cold temperature water. They'd never tested that metal in that cold of water. Yo, Funky Gamer, thank you so much for the cheer, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate the bit. Hope you're doing well. But they'd never tested that kind of metal in such cold climate, and it was that cold climate that made it brittle. Because normally it would have withstanded it. That's why it was called unsinkable. The type of treatment they did to the metal made it very strong, and normally it would have been fine. It could have withstood like a hit from another ship almost, like a head-on collision and not torn open the way it did. But it did because of how cold the water was, and it was not designed to be kept that cold, if that makes sense. Elementary school bullies are better at diagnosing you than a psychiatrist. Took them years to suspect that I Timmy in grade 1, 5 seconds. Oh my god. They are inflatable slides of it, Nat. Oh, you mean that I can't possibly be in poor taste because people are making little museum adventure parks about it? Where you literally play and get a ticket to be one of the passengers? I mean, maybe. Maybe. I think, anyway, either way, I think it's a really neat idea. I think it's a really neat idea that I've not put a lot of thought into. Like, it's like today I thought about it, and since I've been like, you know, it's been rather, well, anyway. It's been rather keeping with my mind is all. As it does. I mean, go for it. I have a game. I'm gonna ink. Don't worry about that. Is ink. Link you. That's about a book. You have to save the altar. Of course, the history. Ooh, that's kind of cool though. I don't know what you mean, MJ. You're crazy. On the Titanic. Wait, there's a game about the Titanic. That's so useful. That's genuinely just so useful. See, and that's the thing is like, I would need it to be like, so. Yeah. I guess the question is, how do you transit? Because I can just see such a natural question existing, especially with like relatively seasoned RPG players, that they'd be like, yeah, what's this ship called anyway? Like, what ship are we getting on? I guess if I just start them on the ship, that could work. Or like have them do like the first bit of the adventure something else, and then have it be like, oh, the Jade Diamond made it away, but I need you to recover it. And they're not sure why there's this weird Cthulhu element and why this guy wants this diamond back or whatever, which is not normally what happens. Normally the way the Call of Cthulhu works is it's like, you're out of town and something horrific starts going, like things just start getting weird. I'll actually, anybody who's interested, Critical Role did a one-shot in Call of Cthulhu that's really great, namely because it uses oh god, I wish they still existed. It was made in the Victorian period. It was a big like glass building. I forget the name of it. It had like steel girders, but then just glass. It was all glass. It was a beautiful building. Botanical Gardens? That's not quite right. I forget what it was called. Give them the registry number. Ooh, Edward. Edward, my beloved. Oh my god, that's genius. Because I'm gonna have them just be in a crate and given like some, like gonna be in a crate, and then they gotta go meet someone on the ship who's gonna like help them be like they're snuck onto the ship through the crate, and they won't have to worry about the rest. But yeah, having the registry number is very useful though. See, that's the thing, is like that's whether or not I need them to find their way onto the ship, or whether or not I'll just get them snuck on. I do love that idea. Just the gut punch of like, I'm sorry, we're on what ship? Dread. Instant dread. We can't say the name out loud. Not to. That is genius. Edward, you're a mad genius. Can't say the name to raise suspicion. That's need to know basis. Use the registry number. That's all you need to know. And then send them along. Genius. Cause yeah, it's mostly being used for it. Oh, that's the thing. Oh, that's genius. There's no shot in hell any of them would realize that it's a mail ship, that it's meant for mail. There's no way they realize that. And I'd be like, oh, it's a Royal Mail ship that you're being sent on. That is genius. Yo, I'll do. Favorite artist releasing new album in May? Yo. An RMS, there's no shot they realize that. Oh my god. And that's a perfect thing to call it, like. Actually, oh, he's had an idea. Your Honor, he's had an idea. Oh my god, I love that, because then it would be a reveal of like, oh, you go look off the side, it does say RMS, like yeah, you see the RMS, and just maybe you didn't see the bit that says Titanic. Who is cool? You are. Oh, thanks, dude. Mind the Switch. Thank you so much for the follow, man. I appreciate that. That's so kind of you. Hope you're doing well. You could have them go in from France at Strasbourg. They had to ferry them on. Ooh, big smart, big smart. So you can give them the name of the boat that was used to ferry. Ooh, that's genius. See, I didn't realize that it had multiple ports beforehand. I think, was it also? No, it wasn't. Was it? Was Titanic meant to go to what's it called? Oh God, Newfoundland? Was it meant to go there? Or was it just that was too far off? Or that was like a place that could have saved them or something? I remember reading about that place as like part of it. Your fingers have fingertips, but your toes don't have toe tips. Yet you can tiptoe, but not tip finger. Well, not with that attitude, my friend. I simply balance. I balance on my fingers and walk through my house upside down. You know, like a bit of a freak. I just go like, meh, and wander my way around, just to irk people. You know, it's just the route you take to get to NYC. For currents, if I recall, Newfoundland was just the closest land at the time. Okay, I couldn't quite remember, and I was like, oh man, if I said they were going to, oh wait, yeah, no way, because yeah, Ghostbusters 2 just has the Titanic show up, which I remember as a kid that like because I had been on the Titanic like experience thing or whatever. I remember that freaked me right out. I remember because like I think I saw Ghostbusters 1 and 2 at like a we were upstate at like a drive-in, which was a weird experience. Really cool. I love drive-ins. They're like really interesting. Like you gotta go like way out to get to any of them, but like they're really cool. And I remember seeing it was like a double feature of that, and it was it felt so eerie compared to the rest of the ghost. Like all the I guess because like all the rest of the ghosts in that movie, it's like yeah, haha, random ghouls and goblins and ghosts. Hee. Gombar! My god, man! Oh my sweet Jesus! You can't do that to a fella! There we go. Don't say there we go! Oh my god. Do you got another right yet? Only 2 lefts. Is it still considered beef? Oh my god. No, it's just tofu. We got tofu. That's what they say. It's like kung fu. A voyage from Southampton across the Channel to Cherbourg, then to Queenstown. Nowadays, Cobb, the port for Cork, County Cork. Then out into the Atlantic towards New York City. So I lied. Cherbourg was the second port. See, that's the thing though. Like I can't believe Compar. I cannot believe you got me with that. Just at the end of the street. That's messed up. That's messed up, especially because you're not even gloating. This just feels mean now. Oh, okay, there's a mess. It must have been so much longer than I thought since I watched stream. I had you in the background earlier. I didn't see how built up everything was. Oh, maybe, yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, a lot of the castles coming underway, you know? Yo, welcome back, Dragon Court. Hey, Panini 9001. Thank you so much for the follow, dude. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. And then they got factories built up that way. You can't see them right now. Oh, the Soul Tree is basically built. That's a big one. The Soul Tree is all good. I want to make that a little more rounded out, I think. But otherwise, Soul Tree is pretty well done. Happy about that. I need to light it a bit more, and then I need to finish installing some trees around it. I stopped working on it because I realized on one of the streams I was working on, I was like, oh, it appears in the pre-record, not finished. There was a stream where I was like, we could finish it today. And I stopped midway because I was like, oh, wait. It's not finished in what I recorded. It's actually more finished now than what it was in that recorded. So, like, had any of you eagle-eyed viewers, like, been like, oh, wait a minute, that's wrong. Oh, my God. I would have been devastated. But nobody noticed. LTU. Oh, my good gracious. You know what? I'm actually, I mean, welcome back, Dragon Court. I really appreciate it. But I'm actually probably going to end up just because my throat is really killing me right now. I think it's just because I had, like, too much talking already today. And I strained my voice a little bit earlier in the stream because I was yelling a bit too much. I was too excited. So I'm probably going to end up French port and an Irish port. I think you'd do better with English or French ports. Yeah, I think so, too. But also only if they realize that it's 1912. April of 1912. Like, you know what I mean? Like, only if they realize. Well, actually, did it launch in April? Or did it launch earlier? I don't know how many days into its journey it got. When did Titanic launch? Okay, well, it launched in 1911, which is not what I'm talking about. Start its journey. The 10th of April. Oh, wow, that's... I don't know why. I know it's not the age of sail anymore by that point, so it shouldn't be that unreasonable to think of a ship making it across the Atlantic in a week, but... And I know it was setting a record of speed too, but I was like, it's probably like 2 weeks out from port. No, that's just wrong and crazy. It's not the age of sail. He was set to break records. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, oh, and that's the other thing. They were going way too fast trying to make sure they broke that record. Still off live after fencing. W, I know, right? It's important to pay attention to that sort of thing and not try to push it just because it's not official stream end time. Yeah, but I don't like ending early. Stupid vocal cords. They're dumb. Ah, well. Anyway, chatters, I am gonna end up though, regrettably, because I guess Dragon Court and Two Pipes just were able to show up. But just because my throat's just feeling a little sore right now, and I'd like to still be able to record things through the week. But anyway, I will chat with you all come at the very latest Friday. There will hopefully be a video out this Wednesday as well. I've been doing a video every Wednesday so far this week. We've been on weekly uploads since 2023 2023 started, and bi-weekly at the very least since December. I think I've been doing pretty good, not gonna lie. So definitely check out the YouTube channel. There is tons of content that has been being uploaded there, both collaborations with some other creators and the like, which was a lot of fun. But then also beyond that, yeah, I don't know. It's just been a really enjoyable time. We're in the midst of a Let's Play for the Jedi Fallen Order, which we're doing in a lead up to the release of Jedi Survivor in the next game. Because I thought, why not? But yeah, anyway, chatters, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I will see you come Friday. Bye, chat! Bye, chat! Bye!